husband fell for his coworker's seduction.
He did?
Some important details. My husband, Chris, 40 male, and I, 39 female, live and work at a boarding school. We are both teachers. Chris is a department head, not the same department that I work in. As with many boarding schools, a sizable fraction of the faculty live on campus. Housing decisions made are largely on the basis of family size, and there is not much of an appeals process if you don't like your housing. Generally, the housing is quite nice, so this doesn't happen much. Our home is attached to a boys' dormitory. Though I don't think it's super relevant, we have 2 children, a daughter 13 and son 11. By the way, this comes from Prep School Drama, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit.
Yeah, do it.
And I'm Angie.
And I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley.
So OP says, anyway, 2 years ago, the school hired Grace, 24 female, right out of college to teach in Chris's department. On paper, she struck me as a pretty typical privileged college girl. Easy major, sorority, legacy at her school. Meeting her, she seemed nice, but dim. When we first visited her, she described herself as a daddy's girl and proudly showed us what she claimed was the first load of groceries she had ever bought with her own money. And it was maybe 20% yogurt and 70% wine.
Okay, not even yes anymore.
Almost all of her furnishings were items branded by her university. Whatever, right? Nothing wrong with that. Grace's first year was largely uneventful, as far as I could tell. She was a competent teacher from what I've learned, a pretty good athletic coach. Her major issue was that she seemed to have a drinking problem. At virtually every faculty gathering, formal or informal, someone would have to help her home. Oh, wow. Chris was frequently that person, as departments occasionally have gatherings of their own. Another issue was that she really likes men. Really. All men. Young, old, married, single.
Red fish, blue fish, 1 fish, 2 fish.
If a man pays attention to her in any way, she returns that attention 100-fold. This extends to having poor boundaries with male students. Uh-oh. That's a problem. While it never rose to the level of criminal misconduct, it gave me pause when boys in our dorm would offhandedly tell me about Miss Grace sending them Snapchats or taking selfies with them to post on Facebook. This year, Grace developed an intense attachment to Chris. She was constantly talking to him, texting him, cornering him at gatherings. I'm absolutely certain that if Chris showed any interest, she would sleep with him. I am just as certain that Chris has no interest in her. We have spoken about their relationship, and he has been completely open and honest, even going so far as to offer to show me their texts. As her supervisor, he has to interact with her, and those interactions are always professional. Although Chris's natural personality is gregarious and friendly. At the end of the year party, Grace got completely wasted. She was all over several men. Virtually all of them were coupled or married. After they kept her distance, she approached Chris, demanding that he take her home. Quote, "Before I do something bad." Uh-oh, that's not appropriate.
Uh-oh.
That's what we call inappropriate.
I think you're doing something bad right now by asking him to take you home.
Yeah, what?
Stop it.
Chris.
Why don't you ask Uber?
Chris then conscripted me and another female faculty to get her home safe. We walked her back to her place, and that was it. We laughed this off until this past week when we got a word from our dean that Grace was going to be moving into the apartment on the other side of our dorm next year. Reddit, I do not want this woman living near us. She has told my son that she is good friends with my husband. My oldest will be attending our school next year and may well be interacting with her on a daily basis. That alone is more context than I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, so tell me some more about your dad.
Yeah.
Like, maybe tell me some stuff about what does he like? Like, what are his favorite things?
I'm worried that it would be like, oh my gosh, you look just like your dad.
Yeah. Oh my
and
god.
Then it gets weird there.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where my brain goes. Yeah.
What?
We're seeing lots of red flags from this girl. Lots of them. I spoke with the dean and was frank about my concerns. And while sympathetic, his attitude was largely that personal concerns outside of Grace's performance of her job could not affect housing decisions. So here we are. While I love my job, the annoying reality of boarding school life is that your coworkers are your primary social circle, and situations that in a normal workplace could be solved easily become intense and complicated. So what do you think? Should I just get over it? I repeat again that I am certain that Chris has no intention of straying on me with Grace or anyone else. And there are some comments. But what do you think? Do you think that she should just get over it?
I think you need to clearly report this to some sort of administrative, whoever's in charge of inappropriate relationships between members of faculty.
Is there some sort of HR? Because, I mean, she told the dean. He was basically just like, yeah, I mean, you can't, like, you know.
The dean made her your neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, I'm moving her right to the apartment across from yours.
Like, I don't care what problems you guys have. This is just kind of what's going on.
She's your problem now.
Yeah.
She's your problem.
I don't think you're overreacting. I think that's very weird. And I think it's good that your husband is aware and that you trust him. And hopefully there are situations where he can kind of, you know, put up some boundaries, or you can keep a good eye on the kids. Okay. But we do have some comments. Commenter says, what about your husband addressing it with her the next time she's inappropriate? A gentle reminder of keeping it professional could go a long ways to waking her up that her behavior is both noticed and inappropriate. We'll see as Grace is away for seemingly the rest of the summer. I will say that I don't think Chris has been as assertive as he could have been in telling her to back off. Grace herself doesn't really explicitly cross the line in her sober communication with him. She just contacts him a lot. He feels like he's in an awkward place, and that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, the whole, like, I need to get out of here before I do something bad.
Yeah.
Like what? Ruin your career?
Literally.
Try to home wreck your coworker?
Yeah. Because he's also, as a reminder, he's the head of this department that she's working in. So this is basically her boss that she's saying.
Yeah.
Getting the head of the,
you gotta get ahead. You gotta get ahead of somebody being like, can I get ahead?
Yeah. Yeah, there's only one way to get ahead, like, yeah.
But we trust him. We trust that he's not going to let that happen.
Praying mantises eat the heads of their mates.
Who knows, man?
Someone responds to Opie. Well, I'm not defending her actions and surprised that she hasn't yet been warned in a professional setting. I have to assume that this is a lonely young woman right out of college who doesn't yet know how to socialize at a work function. I don't think it's a stretch to assume that she's still trying to have the fun that she did as a sorority sister. Do you know if she has a social life outside of teaching? Does your school allow for time off campus? She definitely needs to chill, and I think someone should definitely nicely bring it to her attention. I just feel for her. She seems bored and lonely. OP responds, yes, we have plenty of free time. This isn't the military. I do try to have a sympathetic attitude towards Grace, since I think she still expects that a no-strings-attached social life will be provided to her by outside forces, just like it always has been, in school, sports, Greek life, summer camp, etc. At the same time, there are young, single faculty her age on this campus, and we live in an area with a thriving cultural scene and a steady population of university students and 20-somethings. I think her main issue is that she doesn't know how to socialize without booze, and she doesn't know how to meet people outside of parties or Tinder. From what I understand, she has never had a boyfriend, just wasted hookups in college. And we do have an update. But yeah, I mean, that's very possible. Maybe she just doesn't really, maybe she doesn't understand. Maybe that's just what she's grown up in, or, dealt with in her 20s. But, that's a problem that we should fix. Something that you should learn.
Yeah, it's something you can, like, be a mentor for.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, that's not how you do that.
Right.
Okay.
Great thing to bring up to her personally, maybe, as friends. But we do have an update. School is starting back up again, and faculty are reconnecting and mingling after a summer largely spent away from campus. Grace was a no-show. Apparently over the summer, she got another job and moved to a city several hours away. Okay, cool.
Coincidentally.
That's all that we have to talk about in this update, right? Not like we haven't even addressed the title yet, right?
Right.
This is the second sentence of the update. Nothing bad will happen in future.
How does he fall for it? Does he trip?
Sounds like
Does he slip?
Does he
just
dip?
Do the tip?
Anyway. Opie says, good riddance. The apartment down the hall has been taken by a single middle-aged biology teacher with whom I've always gotten along. Awesome. But through a series of events, as convoluted as they are boring, very long story short, someone told someone else who told me, I've learned that Chris has been not nearly as forthcoming about his relationship with Grace as I thought. Oh, would you look at that?
Forsooth.
Oh. Basically, Grace and my husband sloppily made out at several faculty gatherings.
And nobody said anything?
Nobody said anything.
I need a list of names of all the people that knew about it, and then I'm going to contact their significant others and let them know that they knew about it and didn't say a word.
Wow. Yeah, because then she wasn't even always at those gatherings because sometimes it was just their department. Like, just certain departments will have their fun gatherings. And sloppily making out in front of all your coworkers? That is so messy.
I'm going to sloppily throw all his crap in the hallway.
Yeah. Find a different dorm. Sorry if personal things don't affect dorming. It will today. And for the, rest of the year. So he was always intoxicated when it happened, and it never went beyond there. The same could not be said for Grace's friend Amy, who's around the same age as Grace and also teaches in their department. On one occasion, wasted Amy and Chris sucked face in the back seat of a car with 2 other coworkers in front.
Wait, what?
What is this? Is this high school?
This is crazy. These are the teachers that are supposed to be teaching the college students, not the actual college students.
Wow.
This is wild. Right? I mean, they're in college in this boarding school?
Yeah, no, this is wild.
Dude, what a cool university.
Would you do this with your friends?
No.
Okay, this is
like
wild.
PA in general, and so it's making out while my friends are in the front, dude. That's crazy. But but listen though. If I was a student at the school, I would be eating up this drama. I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's crazy that they would do that.
Professor Chris was sucking face in the backseat of a Pontiac Fiero.
That's crazy, dude. They're wild.
Ear my gird.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wait, this is private school and not college. Okay.
Oh wow, that's even better.
Well, yeah, it's a boarding school, so I wasn't really sure what the ages are
Certainly not boring school.
They then made their way to Grace's apartment where they stayed the night. Chris had told me that he was going to be staying with a buddy of his so they could go hunting the next morning. Why couldn't they go back to Amy's place, you ask? Well, because at the time, Amy was living at the headmaster's house. Because she's his granddaughter.
Oh.
By the way, what else is crazy?
Headmaster.
The fact that we have full episodes and more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to the story. I confronted Chris about this, and he came clean right away.
Okay, that's actually a good sign.
He said that he had enjoyed receiving attention from these younger women and had been attempting to relive his 20s by partying with them.
Ew.
Stop
Stop.
it.
Get out of here. There's other ways to relive your 20s, like go snowboarding, riding a bike. There's other things.
Also, do you
Time
think,
travel.
Someone else that might want to relive their 20s is, I don't know, your wife? Maybe you could do that together. He said that they reminded him of a younger version of me.
All right, I'm not coming back from that one, folks. That's not happening.
But babe, I only chose them because they were like a younger version of you. Like, I wanted to relive my 20s with you. And since you're not 20 anymore, old, old.
Oh my God.
Old. I can't do that.
You're so sweet.
Yeah,
That's so sweet of you. Oh my God.
Crazy.
I can't believe how sweet you are, babe.
That's wild. Which I can see. Amy, Grace, and I are all skinny, flat-chested brunettes with shoulder-length hair. He said that he had been drinking far too much and losing control of his boundaries. He claimed, too ashamed to tell me. I want to believe him. Right now, we're keeping things quiet. Boarding school politics could make this a very complicated situation, and I'm still debating whether I want to stay married to Chris. I love him, and we have 2 terrific kids to whom we're good co-parents, but I have never known him to keep things from me, and I'm not sure I can trust him again. Once a cheater, always a cheater, ? I'm not sure. And there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, not only did he betray your marriage through his chronic inability to keep his wiener in his pants, he endangered your livelihood. Comment number 2 said, although you didn't explicitly say it, please do not stay together, quote, for the kids. Children are perceptive. If you stay with Chris while he's off philandering, you will teach them that this sort of behavior is normal in a marriage, and they'll be more willing to accept that in their own partners. They won't know where to put their own boundaries. They won't have as much self-respect. So when you're considering the kids, consider that before making your decision. And that's the end of that story.
Yeah.
That is so wild. Dude, okay.
It's time to wash your hands of that man.
Yeah. Because their oldest kid is almost of age to like go to this school and is going to. So can you imagine? This stuff gets out. I told my husband his life was a fantasy and he hasn't been the same.
That would throw most people off.
I, 25 female, had an argument with my husband, 24 male, around 4 weeks ago now. My husband is the best thing to ever happen to me. His eyes are so bright and have that childlike innocence and spark. He's very quirky and energetic and so funny, and I love everything about him. He's really all anyone could ask for. By the way, this comes from FewNail1639, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in these situations, so let us know what you would do in the comments. But a couple of weeks ago, we had an argument about something not so big, and I said something personal to him, which I won't say here. It happened in the heat of the moment, and as soon as I said it, I knew I shouldn't have. Instant guilt and shock hit me. He didn't say anything back. He just kept looking down and pretended to fidget with something on the table, then walked out of the room after a few seconds. He left the house and didn't talk to me for about 5 days. He ignored my texts as well and went back to his parents' house. I made him food and took it to his parents' house. I knocked on the door hoping he would open it, and he did. He just kind of stood there staring at me, tearing up slightly. I've never seen him this sad. He just accepted the food by saying thank you and then closed the door. I called his mom to ask how he was, and she was very kind to me. She said that he's just busy with work and tired and burnt out, that in time he'll be fine. Mind you, he's never like this. We've had arguments before, but he's always the one to get over it and not be dramatic in his own words. I'm not trying to invalidate his feelings. Those are his own words. I tried going to his house again after a week. This time I got some collectible Transformer figures because I know how much he loves Transformers. That's really funny. It's like, oh, I'm sorry I said that I hate you. I think you're ugly.
You're some Transformers.
Yeah. They were a big part of his childhood. I got him a few figures, Soundwave and Megatron, which he had said that he was trying to buy soon. I knocked on the door again and he opened it. His parents weren't home this time. I made sure to come at a time that we would be alone. He again just stood there in shock and stared at nothing, trying to avoid all eye contact. When I offered him the gift, he started to slightly tear up and said that he couldn't accept them. I offered again and he just fully broke down. It hurt me so bad seeing him break down. In that moment, I probably felt more love for him seeing him hurt like that. That's really funny. I know what you mean, but like that's a really funny sentence.
Yeah, it's a weird way to phrase that,
yeah.
for sure.
I also cried. I'm on the verge of tears just writing about it. I went to hug him and closed the door behind us. We sat on the sofa and I tried to massage his head, shoulders, and back. We both cried and he kept apologizing and kept saying, sorry, it's not even a big deal, which hurt even more because he was gaslighting himself and ignoring his own needs and invalidating his own feelings for the sake of trying not to burden me. He's always positive and always looks up in life. He's never cried in front of me before, but he's still very emotionally present. Fast forward, he's been very distant ever since. I pushed him to come back to our house, and I could see that he was depressed. He was on the verge of tears all day, and it broke me knowing how badly he wanted to cry, but couldn't trust me enough or didn't want to burden me by showing that side of him. I read on Reddit that a girl washed her boyfriend's hair in the shower when she was trying to console him, so I offered the same. In the shower, he just broke down, turned the other way, and said that he needed time to himself. I was crying myself just seeing him like that. I actually despise myself just writing all of this. Ever since, he's just been different. His eyes are empty, no quirkiness, no jokes, no cheekiness. He's always making backhanded comments when I try to talk to him, like, sometimes it's the closest ones that damage you the most. Almost sarcastically. Yeah, that doesn't even seem that backhanded. That just seems like...
This is straight up. That's what happened here.
Jeez, I want to know so
bad.
What
did you say?
I don't know. Please help. I'm willing to do anything. I just don't want him to be this sad. I know it's all my fault. I just got caught up in the heat of the moment and I'll never forgive myself for it. If I could please get some advice to get him to emotionally open up to me once again, it would be really good. Even if he expresses anger towards me, I'll be there for him and endure it. He's just closed himself off, which isn't a healthy way of dealing with it. He used to share so much more with me before. Edit, I wanted to keep what I said private out of respect for my husband, but I'll tell you if it means getting better advice.
Yes, it would. It would help a lot.
Yes. I'm so scared, but I'm so excited. Basically, my husband is a child at heart because he never got to be a child fully when he was young. He reads comics, has collectibles, draws, etc., and is very playful. I said something along the lines of, you need to actually grow up and live in reality instead of a fantasy with your toys. I need attention too. Something like that. And I know how bad it is because my husband rarely opens up to anyone, but he still shared that inner child with me, and I destroyed that in him. I'm the only one to blame for this, and there is an update, but I was expecting it to be way worse.
I thought it was going to be so bad, and I really am confused on why a really deep apology can't fix this. Like, obviously, a deep apology and time, but it's like if you actually apologize and just explain where your head was at when you said it, or like what you were actually asking for in that moment, like, right?
And if he's at the point that he's like, I don't know, not dissociating, but he's like, eyes are just like staring out into the distance, and like, he's crying so much about it. Okay, if he wasn't able to be a kid when he was a kid,
for sure,
there's just some like heavy trauma attached to that or something, but I don't know. But we do have an update here. So it turns out there was a deeper cause for my husband's sadness, which I didn't know about. After reading some comments and researching, I just pulled him into me when we were lying down, gently grabbing his arm. He didn't resist. I just said, "Come to me, come here," in a gentle, calming voice to try and soothe him. I held him close to me for a while, and at first he passed some backhanded comments like, "You deserve someone better than me. You deserve someone that lives in the real world, not in a fantasy. Someone that's passed away inside," etc. This made me tear up because I saw the pain coming out in his words, but I didn't let go. After some silence, I said sorry and explained to him that I love who he is and his hobbies, and that I love that he has his own inner world and inner child. I told him I would never hate him because of it, and said I love him to bits and that I'll never stop loving him or giving up on him. I told him I got angry and said what I said in the moment to try to hurt him because I felt neglected. The first time in our relationship. It was incredibly rude and vile for me to say those things, let alone think them. That is actually another thing too. The fact that she was like, "You need to like pay attention to me." I wonder why she said it then.
Right. Like, because to me, in my head, I was just thinking like, okay, you were feeling like you weren't getting a lot of attention or like quality time spent with your person probably.
Yeah.
So can we explain like that's where it actually came from?
Right.
Or like what was the real reasoning for those words? Because like obviously you didn't mean it exactly the way that came out.
Sure. He started to really tear up and began taking gasps of air because he was trying not to cry. I just bawled after seeing him this hurt, and he did too. We both cried together, holding each other, and I felt so relieved he was able to release all the emotions and that he allowed me to be there for him. I told him not to apologize because I want to see and know what he's actually feeling, and that he doesn't have to hide anything from me, that I want to see the real him. I gently kept caressing his face and hair. After some time crying, he apologized profusely again for ignoring me. I said it's okay. Arguments happen in relationships, and it's good that we worked through this. I told him he was right to take space because I deserved it. He said he was sorry he made a big deal out of my comment and said my comment wasn't that deep and he shouldn't have been bothered by it. I assured him it's fine and just kept caressing his forehead and face. He told me that life has just been so depressing and tough. I asked why because he's usually never like this. He's always the one to drag me out of depressive days. He hesitated and stayed quiet. I asked what was wrong and he still hesitated. I asked if work was okay and told him that I wanted him to share what's been bothering him because our job is to support each other. I told him I would be honored and glad if he told me and allowed me to help him and that it wouldn't burden me. He then told me that he's been feeling anxiety and depression lately and that his new manager is very rude and harsh to him. He said he's been remembering the past mistakes his parents made and that he doesn't want to make them with our kids. He's thinking it might be better not to have kids in case he gives them bad experiences. I now know what's been bothering him and I'm glad he opened up to me and allowed me to help him. I'll figure out how to help him overcome this and encourage him to share his struggles more often. Thanks to everyone who gave genuine advice in the other post instead of just jumping to conclusions. And for the record, my husband is very mature. He can take much worse comments from people and is very strong. If anything, it's me that throws a fit over small stuff. He owns up to his mistakes. He's hardworking, makes money, pays all the bills, is smart with money, etc. So F everyone that had a go at him, frankly, when it was none of his fault. You miserable people just like to assume the worst so you can dump your insecurities on someone else. For the people that messaged me and gave me genuine advice, thank you so much. I'm going to call his work tomorrow and tell him he needs the day off or a few days off. If it were up to me, I'd punt his manager where the sun doesn't shine, but obviously I can't do that. I'll be spending the whole day tomorrow with him, holding him and wrapped in blankets watching Transformers as someone recommended. Thank you to whoever recommended that. I'll give him more figures and whatever else he's interested in, but not all at once. And by the way, you could get all of our stories all at once on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to the story, but okay.
Yeah, like it seems like everyone just talked it out.
Yeah.
What great talking it out.
Yeah, I think that's great. I had conflicting feelings at first. Little bit mad at you, little confused at his reaction.
Because the context of what you said helped a lot.
It really did. It was not that bad.
Wild choice to not include that.
Yeah. I'll do this for life because if I do it all at once, it'll feel like love bombing. I want to evenly spread out the love I have for this man throughout my whole life. Edit, now it makes sense why he went to his parents' house. He didn't want to be seen like that in case he thought he would be a burden on me. Not because he threw a fit or was overly sensitive like someone said in the last post. I hope you know who you are. And that's the end of that story.
Nice.
I kind of wonder what happened with his parents though, if he went to his parents' house when this happened, actually.
Did he say that was... I feel like he probably just didn't say what the actual reasoning was.
Yeah, or maybe there's just something that OP knows about what happened and they just don't totally know, or... Yeah, he didn't tell the parents the reasoning.
Something different, probably, I feel like.
Very interesting. Yeah. But I'm glad you worked it out, whatever all the details were.
My coworker made a TikTok against me, so I reported her.
Make a react TikTok back.
I work with a younger girl, let's call her Carla, in healthcare. Carla. Since she started, there's always been some sort of tension between us, and I never really understood why. It hasn't been anything overt, but there's always felt like there was an undercurrent of hostility that I couldn't quite pinpoint. By the way, this comes from user Wonderful Folds. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I had knee surgery a little while back and have had certain restrictions since returning to work. I genuinely wasn't aware that this was causing any issues because no one mentioned it. My coworkers knew I was out for a couple of months, but that was it. And I didn't feel like I needed to clarify why I was out for that time. I got home from work and was doom scrolling on TikTok when one of her videos popped up. She was talking about how everyone hates me, calling me lazy, and saying they were all going to slash the witch's tires. Me being the witch. I wouldn't have realized it was about me if the caption hadn't said, and her name rhymes with OP's name, which clearly points to me. I'm the only one with a name that could possibly rhyme with the spelling she used. I spent the last hour crying, and I just do not want to go to work tomorrow. I genuinely try to be a nice person. I don't go out of my way to hurt anyone, and I've never had issues with anyone at work before. This has left me feeling targeted and completely blindsided. I asked my mom, who was a nurse for 2 decades, what she thought. She told me I'm being too sensitive and that I should just let it go. It's difficult for me because Carla also has a video up that shows the back of my car with the license plate fully visible, which feels unsafe and invasive. I looked at her profile right after the fact, and it's just not sitting right with me. I don't feel like I'm overreacting. I work very hard and try to do my best to be treated respectfully. If this were happening to my face, I might be able to process it more easily, but the fact that it's online for strangers to join in on makes it feel humiliating and unsafe. It feels like being in high school all over again. Am I the a-hole for reporting her? I know she'll probably lose her job, and that bothers me, but I also feel like this is a serious issue that needs to be addressed. Comment 1, not the a-hole. If you're fully honest about what she did and she loses her job, that's the consequences of her own actions. And OP says, I wish I were lying. Comment 2 says, save the videos in case they do slash the tires or anything happens to you or your property. OP says, I saved the videos and screenshotted in case she deletes them. Comment 3, not the a-hole, report her. That is insane behavior for an adult, and I would say she's acting like a kid, but I've never met any kids this bad. Show her that her actions have consequences. OP says, it definitely felt like a shock to the system just hearing the way she was talking about me. I was bullied relentlessly in high school, but no one ever said anything like that directly to me. I know she'd thought I'd probably never see the video, but gosh. That commenter says, I used to be bullied really bad too, but that taught me to be truthful, stern, and a narc. But people aren't as rude, at least to my face anymore, because I stood up to them and would tell adults that their behavior wasn't okay. Sounds like something out of a coming-of-age movie, but it works surprisingly well. OP says, it's been so long since I felt like I had to really speak up for myself. I just thought women my age and her age had moved past treating each other like that. It's so discouraging. A fourth comment says, if the video was just her sounding off about not liking you, that's one thing. And your mom may have had a point. At the point she's threatening you or your property, that's bordering on criminal conduct and should be reported. 110% not the a-hole.
Honestly, low-key, wait till they slash your tires and then be like, you admitted to doing
Yeah,
this.
you admitted to planning this and doing it.
So it was a premeditated attack, and I have proof.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
OP replies, I feel like even without the threats, it's still not okay. Not with our line of work. There shouldn't be any place in healthcare for bullying. Even without the threats, she basically named me in the caption. I don't know if any of our coworkers follow her, but if they do, they 100% know it's about me, and I'll have to deal with more nonsense at work because of it. Comment 5, report her to both your employer and the police. She's threatening criminal damage. Don't feel guilty for another tiny second. She's got this coming. I bet you're not the first she's targeted online. As for her career, I would never want a nasty person like this taking care of me. You're doing a lot of people a favor.
Yeah, I was not shocked when they said healthcare.
Just a mean,
I was
nasty
not
little lady.
shocked.
A mean, nasty little healthcare lady. Oh, she pokes you when you're in your bed. She says, "Wow, doing that. I'm examining your ribs." Say, doctor, I sprained my ankle. Yeah, but I'm just gonna jam into your ribs. She might do that. She might do that because she's a mean lady.
Has this
I
happened
feel like
to
that
you?
happened to you.
Yeah, this sounds
The way,
oddly
that seemed
specific.
like we brought something up there.
No, I don't think so. That's like a forgotten memory I'm bringing up. OP says, thank you. I think I let my mom get in my head a bit too much, and reading these comments kind of snapped me back into reality and out of my emotions. I'm emailing my supervisor now. I don't feel like I should wait and sleep on it, or I'll take myself out of it. I have a habit of letting people just railroad me. Comment 6, tell HR or whoever, and if they seem to not take it seriously, say you'll not work with her and try to get her to move branches or something. I don't know anything about healthcare workers. Sorry. OP says, I'm not sure myself if I'm being honest. I've never been in trouble, and I don't think I've seen anyone have to go through the disciplinary process. I can't imagine it's fun, but I did email my supervisor because she's the first line of command. She's really amazing, so I think that she'll take it seriously. I did send links to the videos and have them saved in case she does delete them. And we have an update.
Woo!
Don't be afraid to go to HR.
That's literally why there's HR.
Yeah,
is
truly.
to
Unless
report
if
this.
HR's BFF Jillies with this one coworker.
Well, I mean, technically,
Yeah.
that's HR's still there for this reason. It just doesn't mean they're gonna do
Nah.
stuff.
Coming
I mean,
from
yes,
HR.
but we've
Oh
heard-
my
we've
God!
had-
What if Christian made the TikTok about you?
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes we get
that would be a sticky situation.
sometimes we get horror stories because HR is so
Yeah, it can definitely happen. I feel
bad.
like though, even if HR was also like corrupt or the one doing it kind of thing, there's always a step above HR still. Like you can always just take it straight to the top of the
yes.
company.
HRR, like
HR plus
Human
Like
resources.
JRR.
the resources of human resources.
JJK. There's an update. The update you've all been waiting for. I reported her the next morning after I emailed my supervisor. My supervisor went to HR with me. I wasn't the first person she's done similar things to, unfortunately. Fortunately, for me, her having several reports against her for the same thing made it easier on me. Anyways, I reported her the next day and she was fired today. They pulled her into the office and made her watch her TikToks, and then they let her go. I got the satisfaction of watching her get escorted out by security, and her work besties were all smiles all day. No one treated me weird or anything. It was a very good day. And by the way, you can have a good day listening to full episodes of stories just like this on your favorite podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Just search OK Storytime. And we have a little bit more of the story to finish.
A bit more story.
And there you go.
All is
Actions
well
have
that ends well.
consequences. Wow.
I'm gonna be so real though. Feel like that lady probably didn't learn a thing, but I'm glad that you reported it.
Nah, she just learned to make it on a fake
Oh,
account.
she's
that
just gonna
can't be
private
traced to
it
her.
or something, or not put her face in it.
Which,
Yeah.
kind of solves the issue by itself. Because it's like the issue is it's like you're blasting me out onto the internet for the world to see.
Wow.
calling me a witch, threatening me.
The
Just make
internet's
one
wild.
for yourself.
For doing absolutely nothing.
Probably just for being better at your job
Yeah.
than she is.
Fully. Do your socks match your shirt?
Yeah.
They both got bears.
Incredible.
Burr.
Confirm Dakota wants the Bears to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, sure. Sure I do. Thank you to everyone who knocked some sense into me and helped me stand up for myself. I needed that backbone, and I'll be working on that with myself moving forward. She also deleted her entire TikTok. Nice. We beat the bully this time. And there are some more comments here. Comment 1, good for you and everyone else who reported her. While it's one thing to engage in gossip at a job, even though that's pretty tacky as well, it's another to post gossip and to be doxing people on social media. OP says, I agree. I had thought about it all night and that night, and I realized I genuinely wouldn't have cared had she just not mentioned my name while making it obvious it was about me. And 2, that she had not posted the back of my car with my license plate. It's one thing to just not like me. I couldn't care less. But it's another to just outright degrade me on the internet thinking I'll never see it. Comment 2, I just read the original, and honestly, your mom is wrong. She's from the era where it was just accepted that you shat on the younger nurses. I'm glad you spoke up for yourself and everyone else she victimized. OP says, I agree. She hasn't spoken to me since I told her I'm going through with reporting, and I think that may be for the best. Times have changed, and healthcare, or really any job, is no place for bullying ever. A lot of people made really good points that really drove this home for me. People had asked me if I would want her taking care of me or my family knowing she is the way she is, and honestly, no, I don't. Hopefully my mom wakes up and realizes I wasn't wrong, but if she doesn't, then I guess it's not that big of a loss. The third comment says, my hospital has pretty strict rules about unprofessional behavior on social media. I suspect recording it and publishing it there breaches any number of professional nursing standards, and it's hard to put up a defense given it's documented. OP said my supervisor said I should report it to the nursing board as well. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure if I want to take it that far since she was already fired. Take it that far, OP. Take it as far as you can.
I mean, clearly she's willing to do this multiple times. You might as well.
Yeah.
What is she going to start making? Like, ugh, I had a patient the other day. Like, yeah, report her.
So this last comment is OP responding to a downvoted comment that was like regarding some terms that were used in the post. OP says, insufferable is a word, though. One I'm sure you know very well. Burn. We call our supervisors soups. If you don't work in our building, then maybe you refer to them as something else, and that's fine, but we don't. And for the third time, I am dyslexic. I don't give a crap about spelling or grammatical errors in a Reddit group. Get off your high horse. TikTok. Who gives a crap? It's the same effing thing. And yes, update you've all been waiting for, because my post had hundreds of comments asking for an update. Genius. And that's the end of that story. It sounds like OP let out a little bit of her frustrations on that commenter.
Sounds like that commenter deserved it.
Maybe. My sister kept forcing me to babysit, so I took her kids to her workplace.
I'm just gonna drop them off at your place.
For some background, I am a minor, and my sister, who we could call Sandra, 38, has 3 kids. Alexa, 20, who just had a baby girl, and her other 2 kids, L, 16, and K, 9. By the way, this comes from user Doodle Me Bob. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/showcase storytime subreddit. My name's Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we're just a couple of goofballs who don't know anything else but being goofy. So we don't know everything. If you would do something different, just let us know in the comments. A small thing to remember is that I do not like kids. I do not know. Ever since I was small, I was basically a free babysitter for my sister's children. Growing up, watching them struggle and work extra hours to support their kids just made me want to be nothing like them. Don't get me wrong, I love my sisters and I would do anything for them. A couple of months ago, Alexa and Kay, along with the baby, came to spend the day, which turned into them staying 3 days because of a power outage. I had no problem with this until the second day, when my classes for the next day were canceled. That evening, since I had no classes, my mom and I spent the whole day baking for them until around 1 a.m. Alexa and I had a huge argument, which in my opinion was very uncalled for. The fight was basically about how Kay was constantly waking me up to make him something to eat while his fully capable adult sister was right over in my room. laying down and chatting away with her friends about some friendship drama. After the fight at my house, there was another smallish ordeal that took place on my mother's birthday that resulted in me going low to no contact with them for a while. I do not want to bore y'all with too many details. Anywho, fast forward to 4 days ago. My mom and I agreed to watch Kay for one day, and obviously history repeats itself, and he stayed for more than the agreed time. This, without a doubt, made me really mad. I mean, come on, says OP. Who wants to spend their winter break watching a needy child who acts like the word no is a stab to the heart? Certainly not me. Another reason I was pissed off was because this would be the first Christmas without my late dad, and his passing anniversary was the 21st of this month. On the 20th, when I realized she was not coming to pick him up, I started to panic. I called Sandra about 5 times to remind her I had some plans planned for the next day. She responded, reassuring me that she would pick him up after work at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. came and went, and it was now 6 p.m. I called Sandra once again, but this time I got no answer. I was distraught, completely breaking down into sobs, but it is kind of hard to cry when a kid is right outside your door. At 7 p.m., my mom called Sandra's phone and they said they were 5 minutes away and told us to come outside. Long story short, Kay did not leave that night, and my plans were canceled so I could watch him once again on Saturday. I spent the whole day cleaning and babysitting instead of visiting my dad's grave and eating his favorite foods. Of course, I was angry the whole day and did not eat, talk, or nothing. Around 6 p.m., my mom came home after work with some food and tried talking to me, but I was not in the mood, obviously, but she did not back down. I just couldn't hold it anymore, and I melted into her arms, sobbing, telling her that I think Sandra is being unfair. It seems like she forgot about the plans I had made for the passing anniversary, and she, too, became angry at Sandra. Side note, my mom has a brain tumor, and it causes her to forget things from time to time. I am not really mad at her, but I still am hurt that she agreed to letting Kay stay longer than planned. I should have spoken up right there, but I did not want to seem selfish. Plus, she said Sandra would pick him up at 6 in the morning. My mom called Sandra and yelled at her for a good 10 minutes before Sandra could even get a word in. Sandra said that she would pick him up the next day, since it was already late, and my mom said, okay. But I didn't like that deal, and honestly, I had enough. So around midday today, I told Kay to pack up his things and get ready with me to get ice cream. We took a car, got some ice cream because I was going to get some anyway, and we went to Sandra's workplace. I said hello to Edward at the door. We headed up to her floor, and good thing she was not at her desk at the time. I told Kay to have a seat, and I dipped.
Dude, that would be a crazy surprise at work. You go up to go to the bathroom, you come back, your child is there.
I want to say this was a cool guy move, but really this was a big a-hole move on your part, man. I turned off my phone, and I'm currently at home eating beef roti and have 2 large pizzas on standby. I know for certain that the stunt I pulled is going to cause more tension, and I honestly do not care. Screw them. But should I have just waited? Am I the a-hole, or were my actions justified? We have some comments. Comment 1, I started off thinking that was a bit of a nuclear response to someone simply not answering their phone, but by the time I got to the end, it was quite clear that Sandra is deliberately taking advantage. So not the a-hole for finally making it clear that you're not putting up with this anymore, and not the a-hole for finding a way to do it that will have been awkward and embarrassing for her, but perfectly safe for Kay. Good job. No notes. Comment 2, just start leaving when she drops the kid off. You are never available. Tell your mom you will never help her babysit again. So if she takes the kid, she is responsible for him. I bet if mom called to say, come get your kid because I'm going to work, the kid would get picked up. Opie says, I did this with my other sister who has 6 kids and wanted me to watch 3 of them for 5 days because the oldest one, who's 17, had to leave the country for football. The 3 kids are all under 4. I told my mom I didn't want to watch them because I wasn't in the mood. When my mom called to tell her I didn't want to watch them, she got angry at me and said a few degrading words and hung up. Haven't spoken to her since. Haven't spoken to her since? Oh, you won big time. Opie says, yeah, it felt like a huge victory for finally standing up for myself. Comment 3 says, you just dropped a kid off without letting your sister know or letting the kid know you were leaving? Not right. Could have been handled better. Address the plan with your sister ahead of time or at the moment, not when you are overly emotional. Although you say minor, just curious about your actual age and why you watched the nephew instead of his 16-year-old sister. Sorry about your mom and sorry for the situation. Opie says, I know, I'm 15. I replied to other comments basically saying that L and K fight a lot because of K's selfish ways. K is 9. Alexa is 20, the eldest, and me and her were close for a while, before she had the baby, which is a whole other effed up situation involving the cops and the arrest of the baby's father. Sandra used to do the same thing with Alexa when she was younger, just like me. Leave Kay and Elle at home with Alexa for hours on end. It caused Alexa a lot of stress, and she started to act out and stuff like that. I don't want to go into all the sad details. And there is an update. Honestly, at this point, I just really want to see what the response was to you leaving that kid there.
Yeah, me too.
I am a minor of 15 years. I can't call CPS because my mom would also get into trouble because I was home alone with her. Now, for the update. A while ago, my mom came home, and guess who she was with? Sandra and Kay. Sandra wasted no time arguing with me. She called me sick in the head and psychotic for leaving the house to drop her son off after promising to come for him at 6 in the morning. She told me I need to stay in a child's place and that I am not the adult in this situation. I told her I'm not watching her annoying son anymore. Ever since the fight with Alexa, they've been running their mouths about me for absolutely nothing. The thing that really hurt me is my mom agreed again to have Kay stay the night because she was staying home and Sandra is going out. I honestly started crying in frustration because I can never get any peace in my life. And by the way, if you want peace in your life, just listen to full episodes of stories like this one on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. All you have to do is simply search OK Storytime. Honestly, again, you're 15 living at home and that's your mom's grandson. Your mom's gonna have that child stay at your house.
In OP's defense, the sister saying, like, you're 15, you're not an adult in this situation. Then it's like, well, then why are you leaving me in charge of your kid?
Right.
You know?
That's like the oxymoron of like,
yeah.
You have no authority to speak. It's like, well, it's funny you would give your child to someone with no authority to think for themselves.
Right.
But you did that was a mistake.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't have done that.
Now, Kay is on the couch because my mom said she is watching him. I am not leaving my room. Simple. I'm not sure if this is appropriate to say, but someone commented and said, why did you not take Kay with you to my father's grave? And that really pissed me off. Let me tell you why I would never, ever do this. Once when Sandra and everyone were over, Kay said to my face, that is why your dad passed away. And Sandra did nothing about it. I've decided to not talk to Sandra anymore, and I blocked her and everyone else. I'm going to try to get through this without being angered at the sight of Kay. Thanks for your support. Happy holidays. And that is the end of that story.
Wow. It really was a, like, everyone sucks here kind of story.
Yeah, I mean, you had the high ground until you abandoned the 9-year-old at a place where theoretically they're fine, but it's like, yeah, man, that's, I don't know. If I would be so upset.
Because it's the kind of thing, it's like, if you want to do something that proves to her, like, no, I am still a minor. I'm only 15. I do not deserve to, like, I'm not responsible enough to be taking care of your child. I understand the desire to do something that proves that, and you did, but the thing is, though, is that you've got a child in the mix of it,
Yeah, it's the kid, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're using them as like not a liability, it's like a casualty.
At least you didn't drop him off at the gas station and be like, yeah, he's on the corner of 3rd and Pine Street.
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, that's
It probably is going to cause problems for that girl at work too. I'm forgetting the sister's name. Sandra?
Yeah, that was her name.
Yeah, I'm forgetting that. Can you imagine being the boss? What if the boss saw the kid first and he's like, hey, Sandra, you're smaller now.
Oh my God, she aged in reverse.
Yeah.
No. And she changed genders.
My boss just asked me to host his entire family for a week. I refused.
How did you get yourself into this situation?
I have changed a couple of details and left certain things vague for privacy reasons, but the gist of it is he is considered the CEO's golden boy, and I am considered the CEO's mother.
Oh.
By the way, this comes from Cautious Soil 5557, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in these situations, so let us know what you would do in the comments. When Bob and his wife had a child, she became a stay-at-home mom with the CEO. And his name is going to be Wiener because he is one.
We could call him Richard.
Sure, Richard.
Richard or Wiener?
Richard.
You sure?
Yeah, that
Okay.
works. The CEO, Richard, found this very admirable, and he promoted Bob. You know, the whole song and dance of Bob becoming a family man. It didn't seem to matter that he was showing up later and later to the office and missing more and more and more work. And when he was in the office, he was often sleeping. He wasn't my charge, so I let it go and focused on those who were under me. About a year ago, Bob and Co. had to leave due to a family emergency which required them to move across the country.
What?
Another promotion happened as soon as they settled. At this point, he went from being under me in the hierarchy to being at my level and became even more unreachable. Well, Bob got promoted again a couple months ago to the highest level he can be, and now he outranks me. So imagine my surprise when he texts me asking me to house his wife, toddler, and dog for the week in January, and mentions asking the company to pay for his accommodations as an afterthought if that didn't work.
I would say no, because there is no relationship outside of this workplace.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
You guys seemingly are not friends. This person cannot just ask you to
be an Airbnb.
Yeah. You can be asked what is within your job requirements and your job title, and anything else that is outside of that is simply unreasonable for him to ask.
Yo, Bob, could you show me where in the SOPs that protocol is going to be taking place?
Yeah.
What?
Gobsmacked, I tell you. Utter gobsmacked I was. My dude, I haven't gotten a raise in 4 years and just got slightly demoted for having the audacity of, check notes, having a baby. That is another fun tale of Richard acting like a spoiled older child with a new baby sibling for another day. Despite nothing with my work changing, while you are praised for being such a good dad, get the absolute F out of here. Thanks for listening to my story. I'm going to go take an aspirin before my meeting with Richard, where he will without a doubt mention it. And there are some comments, and we're a quarter through this story, so there's going to be an update for sure.
What?
Yeah.
What happened to a nice, nah, not gonna happen, and then that's good?
Yeah. There are some comments. Vivian Diane says, my personal life is not a company perk for your promotion.
Whoa. Bars.
Ben Sidhi says, no is a complete sentence. Go to HR. Start sending out resumes. Opie says, don't worry, I already said no, and I am already looking from an incident with Richard 3 weeks ago. My flab is just gasted. They thought to ask. Hugh Gnu says, heck no, is a more complete sentence.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. They could sleep on the streets for all I care.
Yeah. NH Hot Mom says, why would she go to HR? It's in bad taste. It's asking a huge favor of a coworker. It's not illegal. There would be zero reason HR should get involved in that. OP, just say no. Good gosh, Bob, I'm a working mom of a small child. I have to get up and out the door to daycare. I have a whole second job at home I go to when I walk out the door here. It's all I can do to manage what I have. I don't have anyone buying my groceries, doing my laundry, running around my dry cleaning. I'm sorry, but no, I'm very overwhelmed. If you're like me, you never complain about what you've got going on at home. In fact, people forget the kids that I carry. An occasional unloading is what these people need, I think. Bob is so out of it, he has no concept of a working spouse. That is true, because I forgot his wife is a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
So this commenter is implying that he would expect OP to do all that stuff, which is interesting though. I wonder what he actually is expecting, because to me it seemed like he just wanted a place to stay. But if he's thinking that that's a total reasonable request, then he might just expect meals and stuff too.
Oh, dude, this is so weird. Why would you do that? I don't know. I think he's trying to push it, and he's trying to get as much as he can out of this.
Yeah. Calvin, not Hobbs, says HR isn't going to do crap against a C-suite person. OP says the main problem is that I'm being punished for having a kid, and this is just another reminder of it, while he is being rewarded at every turn. It is more the aspect of it that I need to be accommodating at detriment to myself and personal life, or it will affect my career while he lets his personal life affect his job and gets rewarded. Yeah,
See,
that is very frustrating.
But that's where I'm like, Richard and Bob got something special going on. Because it would make no sense for a dude to move across the country and have a kid and get promoted.
Yeah. Both Pound says don't go to HR. Hire an employment lawyer and sue the company after you find new employment. Save everything you can that proves you were punished for having a kid while Bob was rewarded. Opie says, unfortunately, the field I'm in is male-dominated and tiny, so it just isn't worth it. Else I would be getting a reputation. I had another boss tell me my 102-degree fever was just me ovulating, but it was actually pneumonia. I had the Rona that turned into pneumonia and bronchitis. And this man says it was just ovulation.
That you gotta get some compensation out of that. That's wild.
My coworkers always joked that I would be passing away in the hospital and work would bring me to my laptop, but they didn't think that it was real until I was chased down in the parking lot when I tried to leave because I was sick and told to just suck it up because it was just that time of the month. Okay, so now I'm becoming violent. Okay, so I don't promote violence, whatever, but this is what I would do in this situation. I would become violent with these men. That's how I feel, and that's what I would do, I think. Just one opinion. Let us know what you do in the comments.
If a man acts like this towards you, you have every right in the book to call their mother and explain to them what they just did.
I just really hope that HR can take care of that.
Yeah.
I really hope.
That's crazy.
That makes me filled with so much anger for you, OP. My goodness. The best thing I can do is just move on and let them realize what they missed, you know? Understanding Mean says, yes, move on, but if the comments were that egregious, and to me it is, once you have that new job, you should still sue for sexual discrimination and hostile work environment. Keep working and get a nest egg for your kid. If you can get some of this stuff in writing, they will be paying for your kid's college, even to an Ivy League. Also, it's not just you. Any woman wanting to work there or enter the field would appreciate it if you at least showed these companies that they can't continue treating women this way without consequences. Will it change their attitudes? Maybe not, but it can change their outward behaviors for the next female employee coming in. Or make HR strengthen their intimidation training and policies to keep them from getting sued again. Don't leave the money on the table. And we do have an update here.
That would be so intimidating to sue these people over these remarks. I would have a hard time doing that. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But also seems like a very tough thing.
I wouldn't have a lot of hope that it would go my way.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Because who's going to be in HR? A bunch of men, maybe. If it's all male dominated, I'm assuming that, and it's a small company, I'm assuming that it's mostly men that she's working with. And I'm assuming that, you know, whatever people are in the court are also men. This may not be true, and you should definitely still fight it anyway, and I would. But it makes me so angry because it feels so powerless. So I posted this a month ago where my boss wanted to stay at my house for an entire week with his family. And we are in the final countdown with some very interesting developments. Quick recap. Bob, the CTO, is the family man who wants to bring his entire family, including the dog, to stay at my home for a week to avoid paying hotel fees. Richard is the CEO and, well, a wiener, who keeps rewarding Bob for being a hardworking family man at detriment to his job. So let's start with the minor drama. Bob is on vacation all week, which is good for him. Much earned, I'm sure. Just one small, teeny tiny hiccup. He hasn't told us some very minor details like meeting place or meeting time. This is all going to go well, I'm sure. Now for the intrigue involving Richard. Richard just kind of poofed, vanished off the face of the planet. We don't talk about Bruno style. I think you might be right. You might.
Way.
Let's keep reading. I brought up his name a few times in meetings over the past month on things that we needed him for, and no one, and I mean no one else in the C-suite will say his name. Oh my gosh. He is off the payroll, which in some weird oversight I still have access to. Oop. There has been a lot of hush-hush transition meetings with the owner/founder and Bob. So I think he is going to announce his resignation next Monday, which is a mixed bag since it looks like Bob cannot figure out a hotel booking, is on his way to being his successor. Les sigh.
Dude, I think I'm on it. I think I'm on the money here.
You might be on the money, but it doesn't seem like he's trying to blame Bob for things.
If you have someone that can't even book a hotel for themselves, going to be a CEO, you were setting the company up for failure. Thus, there's a reason you want that company to fail, and it's probably for financial gain. I don't know what dominated Mel's area they're in, or who bought him out, or who bought Richard out, but money's at play, and we're only seeing a little bit of it, like a little bit of the story. There's a bigger picture happening
something
under our
on.
nose.
Yeah. But there is a bigger picture when it comes to the amount of full episodes of stories just like this one that we've got on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime and you can unveil that bigger picture of our content.
We're almost done with this?
Yeah.
What?
We don't have a lot left.
I need answers.
I know, me too.
Whoa.
Let's keep reading.
This is horrible. No.
I know. I need to know what happens. I need to know. In my very professional opinion, give him 6 months before he crashes and burns. And it is totally not because 2 weeks ago he told our COO he had a bunch of files and then immediately turned about and asked me where they were. No. So while we ring in the new year waiting for this cluster F to play out, throw out your wildest theories how this is going to go. I don't think it can be any more insane than this. And as an aside, I have a couple of interviews next week as well. Yay!
Oh, good. OP, go somewhere where they like you.
Get out of there. My God. There are some comments. Smoke Dealers says, it is wild to me that he even suggested to stay at your house. Even my best friend wouldn't dare unless I offer first. Opie says, I consider myself pretty generous. My best friend has her own room here. I have also, in the past, made personalized snack baskets for the interns, including when Bob was one himself. But I, too, am blown away by the gall in asking a subordinate to host his entire family after a major holiday, especially upon learning that he is in the running to be the leader of the Free World Company and knew he was in the running at the time of asking. This account, B&E, says, advocate for yourself while looking elsewhere. How did Bob go from being your intern to your boss? How long did that take? Why doesn't the owner give you a shot? Why would he remove Richard and promote his right-hand Bob? Opie says Richard was CEO. Richard promoted Bob due to the CTO and demoted me for the same reason. Literally, the only factor at play is Bob and I both had kids, and that somehow made Bob look more competent and me less so, because Bob has a wiener and I don't. It sadly happens all the time, unfortunately. The owner merely has majority stakeholder. He has influence, but at the end of the day, he doesn't run the company. He has very little say in the daily operations. Dogmother says, so Bob gets promoted because his wife is a stay-at-home mom and you are demoted for having a baby? Is that even legal where you live? Just look for another job. The audacity of some people. I hope you said no to providing free accommodation to his family. Opie says it shouldn't be, no, but he did it out of the goodness of his heart, so I have more time to be a mom, or I assume so. He didn't tell me, just everyone else. And yes, I have interviews lined up and a boss-free home next week. And that is the end of that story. My goodness. Well, good luck to you in those interviews. I hope they went well, and I hope you are out of that job.
My best friend ignored me for months, then asked me for a job favor.
Hey, can you do me a javer, please?
I met my best friend Sarah on our first day of college when we lived together for the following 3 years. After college, I moved to LA to work in film, and she moved home with her parents to save up for grad school. I haven't seen her in person since graduation, but for the first year after college, we texted every day, spoke on the phone often, and Skyped almost weekly. By the way, this comes from Scribbly Dibbly. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give some good advice, pretty goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We don't even let you know what we would do. Let us know what you would do down in the comments. This continued until she randomly cut off contact with me out of the blue. I eventually got so worried about her that I called her mom, who awkwardly apologized and told me that Sarah's been spending time with her new boyfriend. boyfriend. After 4 months of not hearing a word from her, she finally texted briefly to tell me about Joe. From the little she's told me and what I've gathered from his Facebook, Joe is an abrasive, closet guard, misogynist. Sarah's very forward-thinking, but has a history of picking disrespectful boyfriends. This latest one seems to be sticking. I saw on Facebook a few weeks ago that they're engaged. Obviously, I was really hurt that I had to find out through social media, but it gets worse. I've been fortunate career-wise, and a few months ago, I got hired to write a big budget movie for a major studio. An interview I did got shared by one of our mutual friends, which I assume is how Sarah saw it. Yesterday, I got a message from her asking if I could get Joe a job. Apparently, he wants to be a TV writer. Nowhere in her message did she congratulate me or ask how I'm doing. Obviously, I have no intention of trying to get Joe a job, but I can't help it. I really want my friend back. When she's not in a relationship, Sarah is the greatest, most supportive friend ever. It's like she transforms into somebody I don't know as soon as she gets a boyfriend. Is there any hope for our friendship, or is it time to say goodbye for good? There are some relevant comments. I would have to say that I think, honestly, like, especially if she's gonna have a boyfriend and they're engaged, it seems like he's gonna stick around, you know? And you don't want to be like the backup every single time something goes wrong. It's like, oh my gosh, what happens? What do I do? What do I do? And it's like, I haven't spoken to you in months, and now all of a sudden you want me. Like, I don't think that's like a great friendship. I think that's more transactional than anything. And
Yeah.
I have had friends like that, and I just like, and they also like will ask you for advice, but then also do their own thing anyway. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, she's very transparently like didn't care at all really for you, and it was more about what you can do for her or for her boyfriend, which is an extension of her. So
just not cool. Like, you can't just all of a sudden try to treat me like a friend when you want something. Whether her boyfriends were controlling and isolating her from friends, or if she simply pulls away from her friendships every time she enters a relationship. OP responds, I can't even tell you how much this comment resonates. For whatever reason, she naturally gravitates towards men who are super controlling. Always has. She's told me that her greatest fear is passing away alone, and I think that informs all of her relationships in a really negative way. So you realize you were just a surrogate for a boyfriend until she found another? OP responds, wow. That's depressingly accurate. She's even joked about how she wishes I was a man or that we were attracted to the same gender so she wouldn't have to bother finding a boyfriend. I never thought about it like that, and now I feel used. A commenter said Sarah was not a real friend. OP responds, I agree. And I usually have low tolerance for this kind of crap too. It's just hard because she's the closest friend I've ever had, as corny as that sounds. I didn't know anyone when I moved to my current city, and even though I've started to make some good friendships, I still don't have a best friend like I used to with her. I miss it. And there is an update. I called Sarah's home phone the morning after I got her message. Her mom answered and told me she was out with Joe. We chatted for a few minutes, and then she suddenly started crying. She told me she feels like she's lost her daughter. She said she would ask Sarah to call me. I didn't get a call back. The next day, I got a surprise visit from Lily, who Sarah and I were really good friends with in college. Lily and I had fallen out of touch, and I was really excited to see her again. That night, I took her to a party. An actor that Sarah always liked was there, and Lily ended up hitting it off with him and posting a picture of the three of us doing shots on Facebook. That night, I got a text from Sarah saying, since when do you hang out with actor? I was extremely annoyed and didn't respond. An hour later, she texted, I guess you're too much of a celebrity to respond. Literally, you don't talk to me, and then as soon as you see that I'm doing well, you're like, oh my god, since when are you friends with this person? By the way, I'll be jealous if you listen to any other podcast other than this one. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app, and just search up OK Storytime only. That's all. Nobody else.
Yeah, I mean, this is just fake friend o'clock, dude. I got a sense at the beginning of the story that this might be someone who just, when they get in a relationship with somebody, they just completely
disappear.
Lose everything except for that relationship.
I just don't understand how I have never ever been like that. It's like, no, my friends were here before you, so I'm gonna also hang out with my friends. Like, why would I just like cancel all my plans to now like be with you and only you? I spent about an hour ranting to poor Lily and then composed an email to Sarah. I think I kept it pretty unemotional. Basically, I told her that she had really hurt me by cutting me out of her life, and I didn't think it was fair for her to suddenly reappear with no explanation or apology. I also said that I think her relationship with Joe is toxic and that I hope she overcomes her fear of being alone so that she can stop jumping into unhealthy relationships. Finally, I told her that both her mother and I are worried about her, but I don't have the time or emotional energy to keep trying anymore. If she wants to get in touch when she's fixed her personal issues, I'll be open to listening. Until then, we're not friends anymore. I'm upset, I'm tired, but mostly I'm done. I hope I made the right decision. I think she, kind of like an energy vampire. Like, she wants to, suck all the energy out of you and then be like, okay, I'm good now, I'm gonna go. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, as soon as she would get whatever she wants out of you, it's back to disappear mode. A friend demanded that I dye my hair for her wedding, but I refused.
My hair, my rules.
So I, 22 female, have known my friend, who I'll refer to as Ella, 25 female, since I was a child, as she is the daughter of family friends. But we've only really become close in the past 2 to 3 years. By the way, this comes from user Bride Hair Throwaway. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Savannah.
And we are going to read this story and give our advice on it. And it might be a little goofy because we are goofballs. You tell us what you would do down in the comments. Maybe you're smarter than us. She recently became engaged, and I readily accepted her offer to be part of her bridal party. Yesterday morning, I received an email from Ella. It seemed pretty standard, but then when she got into the look she wants for her bridesmaids, she wrote, "Hey OP, you'll need to dye your hair for the day. I'll take you to my hairdresser and cover the cost." This had never been mentioned to me. I am a natural ginger, so it's not like I have an outrageous hair color. Although Ella and her other bridesmaids are all brunettes. I texted Ella about it. She told me my hair would clash with the wedding colors and that brides get a veto over pretty much every aspect of her bridesmaids' appearances. She also mentioned my hair is quite attention-grabbing and I'd take away from the cohesiveness of the group. I told her I wasn't comfortable dyeing my hair. She said she'd get back to me, but hoped I'd reconsider. Am I being reasonable here? I've never been involved in a wedding before, so I'm not quite sure what's expected of me. I've gotten some messages from the other bridesmaids who are telling me I should just do it, and there is an update. To be honest, I don't really think anyone is being super unreasonable here, especially the way that they're going about it. Like, it'd be different if she was like, you need to cut all your hair off or you need to dye. It's like she offered to have it done and she would cover it, but you're just not down to do it. So
I mean, she probably doesn't want to mess with her hair, because it is a lot when you dye your hair. It's hard to get it back to normal.
Yeah.
Eventually it will be normal, but that it ruins your hair for a while.
However long your hair is, it's going to have to grow for that long until your natural color is back.
Yeah, and also it's not like she's going to keep up with it. Your roots are going to come in and whatnot, and then you're going to be like, oh, and also that's not the color that I want. Sorry that you don't agree with my natural hair color, but I'm not going to dye it.
Yeah.
What?
Long story short, I am not going to be involved in Ella's wedding in any way. I didn't hear anything from Ella regarding the hair color, so I spoke to my parents, who in turn spoke to Ella's parents, all in their 50s, who then must have spoken to Ella's older brother, 27 male, who I will call Charles, who I've also grown close to over the past few years. A little bit of background, Ella has been with her fiance Pete, 27-ish, since she was 15. He was, and I assume still is, a friend of Charles, which is how Ella and Pete met. Charles called me and informed me that Pete has a redhead infatuation.
And there it is.
And there the nugget of truth is revealed.
So you're threatened that he's gonna go after your friend.
I don't even think it's that. It's probably just threatened that he's going to be like, ooh, she's hotter than my wife. It's something they always joked about in their teens, although that joking stopped when Pete began dating his younger sister. Ella actually dyed her hair red, something I sort of remember, for several years in her teens, but it's basically become too damaged and costly to continue doing, and she returned to her natural hair color. Charles would bet this is why she's requesting I dye my hair. And by the way, I bet you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. We're going to finish this story right now. This all kind of made sense. I've met Pete a couple times, and Ella always seemed to be in a rush to leave the conversation and move on. He also stared a lot. Why was I even asked to be a bridesmaid? Her parents strongly encouraged it and are footing the entire bill. I generally am fairly quiet and accommodating, so I guess she figured I'd just go with it. I emailed Ella to tell tell her I'm no longer able to be a bridesmaid. I haven't heard anything back, although I know she's seen the message. I'll probably not be going to the wedding at all. The whole situation is just too weird and uncomfortable. I'm assuming there's no coming back from this. And that is the end of that story.
Yeah, it just seems like she's very insecure. My cousin's like that. She dyed her hair blonde because her boyfriend was like, oh yeah, I love blondes, blah, blah. And so she was like a dirty blonde, but then she like really dyed it blonde because she was always really insecure. She's like, he's looking at other girls.
Yeah, that's such a strange energy to have in a relationship. It's like, just don't even, why would you be with that person if that's your constant worry? But that's the end of that. We've got another story coming right up.
I want to report my manager, but I'm scared of the retaliation.
They're not allowed to do that.
My boss is a bully, obviously. I, 33 female, work for a popular craft retail store. I genuinely enjoy my job and the people I work with, except for one person. My boss, 50-ish female. I started this job at the end of December 2024. Before I was hired, I was very specific about my availability, and it was agreed to without question. By the way, this comes from Useful Afternoon 662, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I am Savannah.
I'm Carly.
And we are here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We would just tell you what we would do in this situation, but we would love to know what you would do in the comments. As OP says, right after I started, the guy who hired me left for another company. It took them 3 months to get us a new GM. We had a temp manager who had been with the company for years from another store to help us until then. During that time, still had the assistant managers and the replenishment manager from the original crew of people. While the temp manager was a bit aggressive and could be bullish, she was good at her job and extremely knowledgeable about the company policies and procedures. We had a couple of people leave during that time because things were a bit chaotic, and like I said, she was a bit more aggressive than necessary. I wasn't that upset about one person because they never wanted to work when they were there and had a super negative attitude that brought everyone else down. However, the other person was great. Worked hard, usually positive, and did their best. So the new general manager started and everything seemed pretty good at first. She jumped in, worked side by side with you, laughed, observed how all the employees were currently, even had a friend she worked with previously follow her in. Then one day, it was like something just snapped. Suddenly, no one could do anything right. Y'all aren't working fast enough. You don't know what you're doing. No one wants to work around here. I have to do everything myself. Meanwhile, we have all been staying well after our scheduled shifts, agreeing to overnight shifts on top of them, and busting our butts trying our best to get the store where it needs to be. We are all looking around at each other, including her friend, like, who on earth is she talking about? Because it sure as heck ain't this team. It only proceeded to get worse from there. She started to systematically bully people into leaving. Anyone she decided wasn't doing a good enough job, she would constantly berate them until she couldn't take it anymore. She would talk about them. So-and-so, it's got to go. She can't do this job. She never should have been given the responsibility if she can't do it. To other employees, which is completely against HR. Also, being made aware by multiple people, including the person herself, that she is autistic. Whoa, that is not where I thought that was going to go. I thought that was going to be like that she is mean or something. Sorry. She is doing her absolute best and trying her very hardest to do what she is asked, but doesn't always understand what the GM is wanting her to do. It didn't help that the GM changed what she wanted every other minute and expected everyone to just know. You gotta love those people. When told the girl was autistic and might need extra/more specific instructions to accomplish tasks, she flat out said, I don't care. She should know. It's common sense. If she can't figure it out by now, then she shouldn't have this job and she needs to go.
Oh my god.
That's kind of crazy to say.
Like, I don't know, girl, maybe say what you're saying better. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know. Well, then at that point, though, I would think that that employee could go report something under, like, the Disability Act, kind of being like, you actually can't say that. Like, I am allowed my accommodations of, like, more time or, like, needing a second kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. She caused this girl to cry on multiple occasions by constantly berating her to the point where she was terrified to even move or ask any questions for clarification on tasks. It got to the point that the girl, who was a part-time assistant manager, eventually just quit because she couldn't take it anymore. The GM has done this to multiple employees since. Unfortunately, some of them were actually really great employees who always worked extremely hard and had great positive attitudes. Several of them even quit without notice or walked out mid-shift due to her bullying.
Dang.
I feel like that's like something that needs to like go on record.
Yeah, and like, does management not take note of that multiple people are walk out quitting?
Yeah, I don't know. The GM has a habit of telling everyone that if they aren't sure about something, then just ask her. But when you do ask, she immediately goes off about how it is common sense and you shouldn't be having to ask. But if you go ahead and do a task you've done multiple times the same way as always, then you've done it wrong and you should have asked. Oh God. You're danged if you do and danged if you don't. That's horrible. Her favorite thing to do is belittle you, but only in front of customers or other employees. She will do everything she can to make you feel as incompetent as possible. The GM also refuses to listen to anyone about anything. If you try to tell her there is a problem with the system, she says there is not, and the employees just aren't doing their jobs. Example, inventory keeps getting unlocated or relocated to other areas in the system. I have personally gone through 2 specific departments and fully corrected the locations of every overstock item in every spot in those departments multiple times now. 4 different managers have witnessed this. Days later, the locations are wrong again, usually after the system has been updated overnight. I have been telling her this for months. She is 100% insistent that there is nothing wrong with the system, and I am just not doing my job. 4 managers that you hired because you bullied all the others out of the store have witnessed me correcting this multiple times. But apparently, I'm doing nothing. Sarcasm. Other examples. SOP, standard operating procedures, are not followed. I know about SOPs.
Yeah, we all know about SOPs here.
If brought to her attention, she says you're wrong and asks who is the manager here. She has berated several employees over allowing people with animals in the store that are not service animals because we can't do anything about those. Her words, not mine. I love animals, and service animals are fantastic, wonderful, hardworking creatures. She is insistent no animals are allowed in the store and has kicked out customers over it, even when the animals were leashed and well behaved. I came across the SOP regarding animals recently. They are actually allowed as long as there is no open food and the animal is well behaved. It even specifically states that if an employee is afraid of them, then have another employee assist the customer. If you in any way go against something she wants, then your job is threatened. She always has a golden child she uses as an example to other employees, usually without that person's knowledge, until they make her mad. And then they become a target. God, this girl sounds horrible.
Sounds like the worst.
Hey. I know because at one point it was me until I said no to extending my availability. As soon as I said no, she said, well, if I have to hire someone for these shifts, that's going to cut into your hours and that will put you out the door. Keep in mind, I was very specific in my availability before I was hired. That is true. She knew that when she started 3 months after me, I stay late multiple times a week to help, don't take breaks, miss lunch most of the time. I forget about it when I'm focused on my task until I start to shake because I need to eat. I've never said no to an overnight shift to help out. And I build all the Holiday Village displays because everyone else is afraid of the wiring, as well as any other displays. I bust my butt at work, but she threatens my job when I refuse to adjust my availability to fill schedule gaps she created by bullying employees until they quit. We have had at least 3 full staff turnovers, minus 1 person, me, since December of last year. You would think that corporate would notice, but the store numbers have gone up so much from us catching up on store resets and sales because the resets are up to date and you can find stuff, that they made her a part of a manager training team, someone who will help train other new store managers when they start. When you walk in the store, you know immediately if she is there because the store energy is so heavy and all the employees look miserable. If she isn't there, everyone is super upbeat, laughing, having fun, and working hard because we feel good. Her friend who came with her even quit and walked out one day because it was so bad.
I wonder if people coming in for this training program, though, will be the ones to kind of start reporting her.
Yeah.
Like, as if she's mean to them, they're just there to train.
True, it's true, yeah. I hope that happens. I hate bullies. She came back a week later, but still, that says something. The friend is always trying to keep all of us positive and to stay. When the GM is on a warpath, she will tell us to just ignore her and let it roll off because we are doing good. They've worked together at other jobs, and apparently it's like this at each one, but the GM doesn't seem to notice the pattern. We would all love if her friend, who is an assistant manager that came with her, took over the GM position. She won't, but we would try to get her to for sure. I've been asked multiple times by the DM, the temp GM, the visiting manager from the other store, and the other current managers about taking a management position, and I flat out refused. I don't want it. I want to work what I agreed to and keep doing my outside interests that make me happy. Good for you, OP. I genuinely enjoy my other coworkers and the job itself. The only problem is her. By the way, we'll never be a problem. Because you can listen to full episodes just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We got a little bit left, but what do we think?
Yeah, she just sounds awful. That's one of those things where I do unfortunately feel like it's going to take a while, but management will notice and kind of see. I don't think you should be afraid of retaliation, though, from reporting this more. Like, what's she gonna do? Just be the same level of mean she's already being?
Yeah.
And, like, she can be really mean, but the more that they hear about this, the more likely it is that she gets reassigned, or, like, you could get reassigned or something. Like, hopefully it'd be her. But, like,
Yeah.
I think that they need to know.
Yeah.
And she can't fire you for that.
See,
That's illegal.
yeah. And see, in this situation, like, me personally, I have no backbone, and I would be like, I mean, I don't like how she's treating it, but, like, I'm doing my work fine, so, you know, whatever. But it does, like, suck when you're, like, trying to, you know, keep it positive and keep everyone, like, you know, in the loop. And, like, even if you make friends, like, during it, then, you know, then all of a sudden they're gone because they didn't get along with the, you know, GM or whatever. We had a visiting manager from another store who witnessed her treatment of the employees and asked some of us about it. We all spilled the tea. The whole pot and most of the cabinet, but not all of it. When she asked why none of us had said anything to the district manager on their visits, we all looked at her like, are you serious? Can you imagine the retaliation she would rain down on all of us if they let our names slip? We don't trust them. The only time they've asked how things were going with the new GM, she was standing next to them. Oh. She made sure we were all aware that there is an anonymous number we can call to report her actions. Oh. This was a couple of weeks ago. We were all skeptical of the anonymous number. I found out on Friday that multiple employees, including the other managers and the manager who visited us, are planning to use it to report her. Would I be an a-hole if I did too?
No, do it.
Yeah,
do
what?
it.
No.
You'd be an a-hole to yourself if you didn't.
Yeah, that's true. That is actually the end.
I accidentally offended a sensitive coworker, and it's been awkward ever since.
Please, you gotta tell me that accident.
He is in his 60s. I'll call him Rick. He's really bad at his job. He knows it too. The job requires a lot of movement, which he cannot keep up with, and a lot of knowledge of nuanced situation, which he cannot keep straight. By the way, this comes from Rude Difference 6996, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, his training was 1 week long and absolute garbage. I know this because I was trained the week prior. The difference is that I am not new to this field, so I already know what I was doing. The trainer did not train worth a dang, and I had to fill in my own knowledge gaps. After 1 week of on-the-job training, you are supposedly good to go with 0 aptitude tests to see what you actually retained. Rick retained nothing. Not a good start. Rick and I work alone on site together 4 out of 5 work days. I've been helping him constantly. I created a flowchart style walkthrough for him, which he does not use. We've also worked through real situations together so he could get a feel for the job. I would say I have helped him a lot. I would also say he is still not getting much of it. After more than a month, I have taken him from 0% to maybe 20%. He has a long way to go. He's easily the most frustrating work partner I have ever had, and I have been extremely patient because he is incredibly sensitive. At one point, he accused me of jumping down his throat when I firmly explained that he had messed up again for the 12th time that day and needed to slow down and review his work before confidently hitting enter on mistakes. He responded by throwing a tantrum. Classic Rick. He became snarky, uncooperative, and a distraction, mumbling grumpily about this and that, while I handled my workload. Despite all of this, he is very appreciative of the help I give him. Almost daily, he brings me a snack as a thank you, usually a candy bar. I welcomed it because it was nice, and I understood that he was grateful. I have been working twice as hard to cover for him and train him, so it felt that he recognized it. I did make it clear that it was unnecessary, but it seemed to bring him joy. Every time he hands me something, he says it's the one thing he can do right. Because we work together so much, we have gotten to know each other. We share some likes and interests. He often wants me to watch, listen to, or read things he likes so we can talk about them. He was never married, has no kids, is no contact with his family, and barely tolerates people in general. But he took a liking to me. I honestly worry that I am one of his main outlets. I appreciate his enthusiasm, but I do not share his interests. When he found out that a movie he considers an all-time staple was available to rent for $3, he tried to give me $5 to watch it. I declined. What?
Getting paid to watch a movie?
You declined?
You declined? I'd be like, thanks, Rick. See
Talking
you next week.
Talking money like that made me feel extremely uncomfortable. He was visibly upset. Wait, what? I'm confused. Why did that make you uncomfortable? He was like, hey, if I pay you $5, will you please watch this movie that I love? That's really sweet.
Some people are just weird with money talk.
I don't know. That one's like really weird.
I know. It's definitely weird. I feel like a lot of that got passed down from parents that were uncomfortable with it.
I don't know. That one's not even like, how much money do you make? Or like, hey, can you pay me back? That's literally like, I want you to watch this movie I love and I know it costs money to rent. That's like buying someone a coffee.
Right. Not even. That's less than a coffee.
Yeah, that's less than a coffee. I don't know, OP. You're weird. He paced for a while, then asked how I could accept treats from him, but not accept $5. Over time, those treats cost more than the movie would have. My heart dropped into my stomach. Internally, I immediately thought, wow, he is absolutely right. I told him that he was correct, and that because he pointed it out, I could no longer accept the treats either. OP, what?
I feel like you're just kind of creating problems.
Yeah, why are you... I agree. I'm confused. That doesn't make any sense.
Also, now that I'm thinking back to it, did he offer to watch the movie together for $5? Because then maybe I would decline. Be like,
that's
no.
weird. Yeah, I'd be like, hey, hold on. It seems like to me, he just loves this movie, was like, hey, I would love for you to watch it, but I know it's $3, so like, here.
Keep the change.
Keep the change.
Type of thing.
That's like, I don't know.
Get yourself popcorn.
As long as he's not being weird about it, I don't understand why you're not liking this. That did not go over well. He thought I was trying to punish him or get back at him. I'm not even entirely sure what he thought I was retaliating for. He became increasingly upset as he talked. He seemed to think I was taking pleasure away from him by not letting him bring treats or buy the movie, and that I was denying him a way to show appreciation. I left work that day on an extremely awkward and stressful note. What made it worse was that it had nothing to do with the actual job. I spent my entire weekend dreading the social interaction that would come when I returned. I keep wondering if he would bring a treat and get upset when I refused it. I genuinely enjoy my job, and I want everyone to succeed. I applied for this position. Rick was transferred here after the area he worked in was shut down and there was nowhere else to send him. I have worked with difficult people before, including other elderly coworkers. This, however, is a completely new level of social anxiety for me. From my point of view, his behavior feels borderline possessive or controlling, but maybe it's a generational thing I don't understand. He is very adamant about being a gentleman while simultaneously throwing tantrums. This is not even the worst interaction I have had with him. I'm starting to think the most helpful thing I could do for him is leaving circled classifieds on his desk. I should have never accepted that first treat.
But you didn't know, and also I feel like I don't know, I feel like OP, you're kind of making it weird.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's, like, doing it so that he could, like, get something out of it. I think it's just,
seem like it.
Yeah, because it's not like, well, now he's asking me to do this for him, and because I do that.
It seems like you've done a lot for him, and he's trying to show appreciation for that. I
personally would say, though, that if he can't do his job properly, stop saving his butt.
Yeah, I think that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
I think that's like maybe you're doing too much to help him.
I feel as though maybe there's more like resentment built up from that, and it's just coming out and like, and he keeps bringing me treats.
And I don't want the treats.
Right. And it's like, maybe you're just like really upset that you're doing his job.
Yeah. What are we actually upset about? Because the treats thing seems pretty harmless to me. Again, there are situations where it could bleed into being uncomfortable or, inappropriate, but it doesn't seem like that.
Seems like he's just doing what Rick always does.
He's just doing classic Rick moves.
Being an old man and being sensitive.
Update. He failed the sink or swim test. This game is no surprise. He caused so many issues that HR had to get involved. Apparently, on the 1 day a week we do not work together, he has also caused problems for other people. He has multiple complaints against him, none of them officially from me. He is currently under evaluation, and it does not look good. I would have updated sooner, but life happened. Thank you to everyone who responded to the original post. I read all the comments and took them into consideration. For clarification, he will be 70 next year. I only found that out recently because I was not entirely sure of his age. As I mentioned before, I am very familiar with his field. I used to do both his job and my job solo. Doing both now would not be a problem for me. The company likely has 2 people in the role to lighten the workload, but having him here actually creates more problems. People rely on us to do our jobs correctly. If I let him do things wrong, the issues come back to us and double the workload. When I returned from my weekend, he insisted I take a treat. I declined. He was clearly hurt, but there was no time to address it because we immediately got slammed. It was so busy that I did not even take a lunch break. I probably could have if I trusted him enough to leave him alone. Or he could have gotten you lunch, I guess, but you wouldn't have accepted it.
I would have immediately accepted. If anyone is buying me lunch, I love
it's free
you.
lunch. As long as he's not being weird.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't like ask for something.
Yeah, he's like a date.
Return.
He's like, I want to go on a date with you. He's for lunch. That's weird. At one point, I had to politely push Rick to the side because he was physically in the way. I was doing 6 times.
Not politely push him. I thought she was going to say,
literally-
like, politely push him to the side just to, like, talk to him.
Yeah.
But she meant he was actually in the way.
Get out of my way, Rick.
Rick, you're just going to have to
Move
just
6 inches.
I don't
to
want
the
to
right.
break you, but you got to just go a little bit to the... Nope, that's the left. A little bit okay. You know what? I'll just scoot around. I'll scoot around. It's
I'll
fine.
go around. I was doing 6 times the work while he was stuck on one task. During a brief lull, I could swear I saw tears in his eyes. He stared off into space and kept asking himself how he was going to do this, saying he did not think he could. I was grateful that we were too busy to talk about anything personal for the rest of the shift. I got my steps in, refused the treat, and avoided an awkward conversation. The next day was calmer. He asked me if I thought he should look for another job or if it was worth staying. I was honest with him. I told him that this did not seem like a good fit, that it was fast-paced and nuanced, and that he struggled to keep up. I said the job was not worth the stress and that there had to be something out there better suited to him. He thanked me for my honesty. Then he immediately said he hates job searching and will probably stay. After that, he offered me a treat.
Oh.
Are you like Scooby?
So he's like, thank you for your honesty.
Treat?
Would you like a
Treat?
Reese's?
Do you want a Reese's?
Like, it's just... Poor Rick doesn't know. He's like, I don't
Yeah.
have any money, but I can offer you sweet
I can
treats.
give you a little, like, mint.
I can give you sweet treats.
I emailed my manager about not being able to take a lunch and explained that I could not rely on Rick. I do not know if anything will come of it. I know we can rely on you guys to listen to full episodes with stories just like this, though. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Honestly, just think that Rick's just old and he doesn't really like. I worked with like a very old person, honestly, probably around 70, and like he couldn't get around. He was not good at his job, but they just kept him there because he literally was Eeyore though.
Yeah.
He was like, well, my brother's passed, my parents are passed. I really don't have anyone but my wife, and all she does is yell at me. My life's just miserable, and I'm here making money. And I'm like, are you all right, Bob?
Yeah.
His name was Bob.
Yeah.
Like, you all right? Like, he's great, but like to have around just for like laughs. But
Yeah.
like, boy, you can't really do this job.
Yeah, which
It
it seems like
requires.
that's the
That's
issue
what's
here.
required.
Which I don't know. It feels like OP's kind of making the whole treats thing a bigger issue when
Yeah.
the real issue is just that Rick can't do his job.
Yeah, I think they're trying to like reach for something else to be mad about,
Yeah,
but then not actually like because they don't want to just say, oh, it's just this. No, he does more annoying stuff. I swear, guys.
Yeah.
It's like that's not really annoying. That's actually very sweet.
Yeah. I also spoke with another coworker. He works with Rick on the day I am not there and works with me on the day Rick is not there. He agrees that Rick is a headache, ignores boundaries, and acts childish. Rick, for the record, calls it childlike, which is still strange. This coworker has also raised concerns with his superior. Because we are short-staffed, Rick will be scheduled to work alone. This is the ultimate sink or swim situation. I did what I could to help him learn and made others aware of his struggles. I believe he will fail, and I take no joy in that. Rick asked if I would come in on my day off to help him. The audacity is overwhelming. But that's the end of that story.
I quit my job without notice, and now the HR is freaking out on me.
Oh, so I leave the nuclear plant without any notice. Who cares?
I quit with no notice, and I am beyond happy and relieved. I have an amazing new job that needed me right away. My now former workplace is a pit of toxicity and immaturity that deserves no respect, as they gave me none, and I did exactly what was right for me. I feel lighter just knowing I am free from that environment. By the way, this comes from vague username 133, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. As OP says, I resigned today and got a call from the harmful and honestly probably mental ill HR, in quotes, person a few hours later, demanding that I return my laptop and phone to them first thing tomorrow morning. The problem is that I work on the opposite side of the city and already have an introductory drinks outing with my new team after work tomorrow. Their timing is impossible, and it feels intentionally antagonistic. I offered to overnight the items in the mail, and I was told that if they are not back by tomorrow morning, despite this being impossible, their attorneys will be involved. Part of me is loving this. They are actively horrible people, and HR has been bullying me all year, so I expected nothing less from them. At the same time, I'm wondering if anyone out there thinks I will actually be in big trouble if I overnight the items, which is completely unacceptable to them. Sending good energy to everyone out there dealing with this kind of BS. It's validating to know that I am not alone in navigating toxic workplaces. I'm relieved to be moving on and hope others can find the courage to do the same. Top comments. Blue RFR 3100. I would wait for the lawyers to contact you. The first thing the lawyers will do is send you a letter. Once you get that letter, call them back and make arrangements to return the items. The lawyers will bill the company for sending out the letter, make them pay for being so petty. Opie's comments, Redditor 1? What a bunch of witches! If the company even has lawyers, they will blow through the cost of a phone and laptop in a day. And one would have to be utterly insane to waste money on terrorizing a former employee. Take the gear back anytime this week that's convenient for you, or, as you suggested, just ship it. Make sure you require a signature for delivery and that the package is insured for its value. OP responds, this is what I was thinking too. I'm shipping that crap back, and yes, ASAP, with signature required, and then I cannot wait to never hear from them again as long as I live. The corpse can go F themselves as they act like they own you. Tell them you sent them the phone. Tell them you sent them the phone in the mail, and you get it when it arrives, and block their numbers. Form VM. They need to be brought back to Earth. Opie says, I didn't think of blocking them. I'm doing that as soon as the dang thing is signed for. Thank you. Good idea. Redditor 3. Also, if they are crazy, don't let them know where you're working now. Opie says, oh, I never would. I didn't even tell the one person I like and trust there. I'm not risking it. These people are unhinged and, unfortunately, powerful billionaires with their hands and money in Israel and all that crap. Not this loser HR guy, though. He's a pathetic loser who works remotely and would threaten me via email every once in a while for various things. He literally refused every PTO request I ever had. In the convo we had about the phone BS, he berated me for not giving notice and said I was probably about to be terminated anyway because I'm sick all the time. Yes, dude, I had to take time off to get tested for Crohn's and colitis because I was crapping blood at work. Want to see evidence? Effing losers. I'm not even mad. I laughed at him on the phone. I appreciate everyone's advice here. It made me feel less frantic. Redditor 4, downvoted, says, should have turned them in when you quit. If you are remote, you should have quit in person. That is the most satisfying way to see their face when you walk out the door. If you quit via email, you need to grow up. Opie says, nah, I'm tired of being the bigger person. When they go low, so do I, so they can get a taste of how effing annoying they are. And we have an update. I'm gonna be so real. I think you should suck it up and return it in the morning.
I mean, if you can get there, I'm sure if it's like, oh, I can't go in the morning because like I already have this other job. If you just tell your job, hey, I have to take this stuff back.
This is the last thing I have from my other job.
Yeah.
That they'll be like, yeah, you can come in a little late.
I'm sure it'll be okay.
I think that's just the safest way to cover your own butt here.
I was
and
just
not
gonna
be
say,
like, yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I said it already. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, rip off the Band-Aid. Just rip off this Band-Aid that's just like, I'll do it later. It's gonna come off anyway.
Right, like we're just causing more problems.
Yeah.
Which I get it. They were being poo-poo heads to you, but like, let's just be done with them.
They are the poo-poo.
They are the poo-poo. They are the poo-poo that needs to be tested from working too hard.
For Crohn's.
Update 2 days later. Hi, I got so many responses and such helpful info on my last post, linked. Thanks everyone who responded and let me know that this guy didn't have a leg to stand on. Quick update is, I didn't return the phone and laptop same day as I literally couldn't and had offered over 4 times to ship them back overnight with signature. For clarity, I even initiated that offer in my email telling him about my resignation. This unhinged HR guy said no again and sent me an official signed letter telling me I had to return the items to the location by November 18th, 2025. He also said he mailed a copy of the letter to me, which would be a moot point even if he had gotten the date right. It's supposed to be today, December 18th. Solid. Since the mail doesn't come that same effing day. He said he texted me the PDF, but he texted it to the work phone that I have wiped and turned off according to his instructions. I responded and said it wasn't possible, and it literally wasn't possible to take it in person that day or the day before as he demanded. He said he will be taking legal action, at which point I responded, please do contact me with your attorney so we can wrap this up. Looking forward to hearing from them. He responded and said, you can go through me, LMAO. Finally, he conceded to sending a messenger to pick up my things, which should happen tomorrow if all goes smoothly, and knowing how stupid he is, it won't. His whole issue with me is that I know he's stupid, and he knows I know that he's stupid. I cannot wait to hand these things off to the messenger and confirm receipt and block him. Hope he gets a life soon. Happy holidays, everyone. We have another update. He's saying it's prohibited to send the items back in the mail due to sensitive info, and he's going to have his attorneys serve me papers. I said, great, connect me, because I'm traveling and don't want them to have to chase me down. FYI, I didn't sign anything about equipment return whatsoever. Then he refused to connect me. He said he would send a messenger again after I said I'm at work today and I don't have the things with me. I said I could return the items in person after the new year. No answer yet. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to withhold a paycheck due to this, and I am owed another next week.
I'm unsure about any of that, but I think you should give them back.
Because at this point now, if we're talking New Year and the original date was December 18th, we're talking weeks that you can't return these things.
Give the
You're
stuff
asking
back.
for problems.
Just give the stuff
Yeah,
back.
OP's
You're
you're just
annoying
being
me.
really petty at this point. And like at this point, you're like, why? Like you're like, I left the job, but
The job
I like
sucked.
this. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now you kind of suck. God, I'm tired of his butt, and I'm not even trying to F with him at this point. We have some top comments. Za says, get something in writing from the courier to document transfer of possession. This HR guy sounds 99% like smoke, but always CYA.
Cover your booty. Cover your booty behind.
Oh.
Yeah, or just, even if you just, whatever, just give them the stuff. Give it back. Give it back. You're inconveniencing no one but yourself now,
Right.
really.
We're waiting weeks to return this. I'm pretty sure they probably could hold your paycheck. And what are you going to do? In the time that it would take to, like, sue them or whatever for your paycheck, you could just return the items and get it. Redditor 5 posted this in your other thread. Please escalate this guy's legal threats to the higher-ups at your previous company or to in-house legal if this is a large company. If it's a small, crappy business, they probably won't care. If this is a real company with actual legal, they absolutely will care about this. For all you know, he's been warned about this before. And you could end up providing him a real nice parting gift on your way out. Or for the real LOL, let them know on every form of social media that you don't appreciate the legal threats from HR when you quit. Pops for the win. Opie says, it's a small, crappy company, and he is the HR department. He said he's going to have them serve me papers. I said go for it. Update 1 day later, 3 days after the original post. If this isn't, I returned the laptop and phone.
I'm just waiting for, like, I got served legal paper.
Yeah, if at
Ooh,
this
shocker,
point it's like
like-
you're really just playing with fire. Why? Like why?
I think you want to
Why?
be sued, and I think that you think you would win, but you wouldn't.
You just have their stuff.
You have, like, at this point, they just want their stuff back.
And it makes, if they're a small little company, it makes sense they really want it back right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are the best and have really eased my spirits about this whole thing. I actually did have a panic attack yesterday. I think all this BS got to me in the midst of starting a new job and trying to get packed to spend the holidays with my dysfunctional family. It's too much. After the HR loser said his lawyers will serve me papers, I offered to connect with them so they wouldn't have to chase me down while I'm traveling. LOL. He said they will be harder to deal with than dealing with him and said, I promise you that. Okay, big guy. I stuck to my pew-pews and said the items will now be considered misappropriated property? Oh, sorry. I stuck to my pew-pews and he said the items will now be considered misappropriated property. A quick Google says this is not the case whatsoever, as someone has to intentionally refuse to return or destroy items belonging to someone else. It's in writing about 7,000 times that I'm trying to get these items back.
I don't know if you understand what that means. It sounds like it's in writing that you've, like, not given the items back 7,000 times.
But you know what is in writing? The fact that you can listen to more full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Search up OK Storytime. Yeah, at this point I'd be like, send your dang courier, or I'd go drop them off. And I don't get why we're not doing that. I really don't.
Yeah, it's beyond time. It's beyond time, and it's beyond me why we're doing this to ourselves.
One also has 30 days after receiving a letter requesting return to actually return the property. He sent me the letter with return request date of November 18th, LOL, this week. So I told him since mailing it is out of the question and he never followed through on sending a messenger, I'll return the items when I'm back in the city first week of January. No response yet. This is actually feeling like intimidation at this point. He's adding in things about me being disrespectful, etc. And I just want this to end.
I want it to end, but I'll keep dragging it as long as I can because I won't return this. Dude.
I won't respond to anything else until January. I did let this get to me a little this week, but that's the end of that. I hope I ruined his week.
Bruddy, it sounds like you ruined your week.
That's crazy. I don't even know. Maybe everyone at your old job is actually cool, and you were just
I'm starting
annoying.
to feel like HR dude, maybe he has his moments of stupidity, but he's probably just doing his job. He's probably just trying to do his job.
Yeah, he's
probably just trying to get through a crazy month.
I reported my boss to HR even after my girlfriend begged me not to.
What does she have to do with this?
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I, 21 male, have been with my girlfriend Lena, 20 female, throwaway because my girlfriend and some coworkers follow my Reddit, for about 1.5 years. We met freshman year at college and moved in together this past summer. Money is tight for both of us, so we both work part-time while going to school. By the way, this comes from Grouchy Ask 6432, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice, Goofly, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I got my job last fall. It's nothing impressive, mostly scheduling, paperwork, and helping different departments when they're short-staffed. When I was interviewed, the manager, Mark, seemed serious but professional.
Okay.
He talked a lot about accountability and earning your place.
All right.
Which I actually liked at the time. Okay, seemed like Mark could be a good guy.
It's a real business guy.
Mm-hmm.
Work hard.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yes.
The first few weeks were fine. A little overwhelming, but I was new. Mark corrected me a lot, but I figured that was normal. I feel like it is somewhat normal when you're new at a job.
Yeah, you got to know how to go about things a certain way.
He'd reword emails I sent to ask me to redo things, even if they weren't technically wrong, and would sometimes change my shifts with very little notice. Well, so those ones are worse.
Yeah.
Those ones, not great. About a month in, things started to feel off. Not huge things, just constant little ones. I'd get called into his office for quick chats that felt more like lectures. He once asked me if I took feedback personally because I seemed tense. Another time he asked if I was really committed since I was balancing school and work. My hours started bouncing around a lot. Some weeks I'd get close to 30 hours, then suddenly I'd be down to 12 with no explanation. Meanwhile, people hired after me seemed fine. I told myself maybe I wasn't performing as well as I thought. I started overthinking everything, rereading emails before sending them, staying late without clocking it because I didn't want to look lazy. I didn't want to complain and be that guy. That's the worst type of working environment.
It is.
Hate
It
that.
is.
I talked to Lena about it a few times, mostly just venting. She told me all bosses are weird and that I should just keep my head down. She also said I tend to spiral when I feel criticized, which maybe is true. Then I got my first written warning. It was for communication issues. No specific example, just that I needed to improve my tone and responsiveness.
What?
What does that mean?
With what?
With who?
With texting? With emails? With what?
That really messed with my head because I didn't even know what I did wrong. When I asked Mark for clarification, he said, if you don't know, that's part of the problem. That's such a stupid response. That's when I started writing things down. Not officially, just notes in my phone. Dates, weird comments, schedule changes. I wasn't planning anything. I just wanted to feel like I wasn't crazy. One afternoon, Mark called me into his office and asked why I was talking about personal issues at work. I honestly didn't know what he meant. When I asked, he said some people had mentioned I seemed distracted lately. It felt vague on purpose. The conversation ended with him telling me to keep my private life private. I'm sorry, so now LP is being told that he has to keep his private life out just because he seemed distracted? It didn't even sound like he actually said anything about his private life.
This guy's coming after you. He's targeting you.
He's targeting you. That night, while Lena and I were sitting on the couch, I mentioned it. I asked, kind of offhand, does Mark ever talk about me? Oh, wait, I didn't realize Lena worked there too.
Yeah.
She went quiet for a second. Not dramatic, just enough to notice. What do you mean? She asked. I told her about the comment he made, about my personal life, about me seeming distracted and how it felt like it came out of nowhere. I said it just feels like he knows things I haven't said at work. She hesitated again, then said, I mean, he knows of you. I asked what that meant. She sighed and said I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but Mark's technically my brother-in-law. You didn't tell OP that your freaking his boss is your brother-in-law? Honestly, I would be rethinking the relationship if this big of a that came up. Because it is a lie. She purposely withheld that information.
Yeah, until now for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it wouldn't that wouldn't be breakup territory yet, but I would be like, we're going to have a conversation about why you lied about that.
And why is he giving me such a hard time?
My parents got married when I was 17 and he was 21. He's been around my family for years. I just stared at her for a second, not angry, just trying to reframe everything I'd already experienced. I asked, so he knows we're together? Yeah, she said quickly, but I've never talked to him about your job, ever. I don't vent to him, and I don't ask him for favors or anything like that. I believed her. And in that moment, I still didn't think it meant anything. It just felt uncomfortable. Like two parts of my life I thought were separate had been overlapping without me realizing it.
That makes sense.
Okay, well, now I think it's less likely that Lena and her brother-in-law have anything going on, but maybe he's trying to be like, I don't know, maybe there's cheating, but he's trying to be like big brother
to you.
If you freaking mess with my, sister-in-law.
My little sister-in-law, don't you do anything to her.
Yeah.
I don't like this aspect at all. Everyone needs to go check themselves.
Yeah. A week later, there was an issue with a scheduling error that affected multiple people. I had flagged it in an email earlier in the day, but Mark blamed me in front of the team anyway. When I tried to explain, he cut me off and said, this is the exact kind of thing we've talked about. After the meeting, one of my coworkers, I'll call him Josh, pulled me aside. Josh is about my age, started around the same time, and honestly does well there. He said, "Man, that wasn't on you." He told me Mark had been unusually harsh with me compared to everyone else.
It's because he likes your girlfriend, dude.
Yeah. Josh also said something that stuck with me. "I'd back you up if HR asked, but I'm not trying to get on his radar." I couldn't blame him. After the meeting, where Mark blamed me for the scheduling issue, Josh showed me something I hadn't asked for. He pulled up his own write-up history on the HR portal. Same department, similar role, similar tenure. His file had 2 notes total, both short and pretty neutral. Mine already had 5, and the language was noticeably harsher. Phrases like pattern of concern and ongoing issues, even though most of the incidents were minor or subjective. He also showed me his schedule history. His hours fluctuated a little week to week, but nothing like mine.
Oh, wow.
No sudden drops, no back-to-back closes into opens. He pointed out that some of the emails Mark sent me were almost identical to ones he'd received, except mine had added sentences at the end that reframed things as mistakes instead of reminders. Josh said, "I don't think this is random," but also said again that he didn't want to be involved unless HR specifically asked. That was the first time I felt like I had something more than just a gut feeling. I brought this up to Lena that night. I wasn't accusatory, just frustrated. She listened, but her response was always some version of, "I don't think he's doing it on purpose, or he probably just has higher expectations of you." I asked her again if she'd talked to him recently. She said no, and that she didn't want to keep having to mediate. Stop mediating. OP's literally asking you, do not do that.
It feels like a lie.
I
You guys
agree.
are talking.
I think she's talking to him.
Ugh.
She also said that bringing up his behavior was starting to make her anxious. The tension started bleeding into our relationship. Anytime I mentioned work, she'd sigh or shut down. She told me I was letting it consume me. I told her it was hard not to when my job felt unstable. Things escalated after another incident. Mark accused me of missing a deadline I could prove I met. When I showed him the timestamp, he said I should have followed up more aggressively. Later that day, he sent me an email summarizing the conversation in a way that made it sound like I'd admitted fault. I replied, politely correcting it. He never responded. I showed that email to Josh and another coworker. Both agreed it was weird. Neither wanted to be involved. Around this time, Lena and I had our first real argument about it. She told me I was assuming malice and that I was putting her in an impossible position. I told her I felt like she was minimizing something that was clearly affecting me. She said, "You're making me feel like I have to choose." Well, you've already chosen the brother-in-law. And I said, "I just wanted you to see what's happening." Neither of us felt heard. From that point on, I started saving everything. Emails, schedule screenshots, meeting notes. Not because I wanted to go nuclear, but because I felt like if I didn't, no one would believe me later. That's when the write-ups started happening more frequently. When Mark put me on the performance improvement plan, that's when I told Lena I was seriously thinking about HR. We'd already been arguing about it for weeks by that point. She kept saying HR would escalate things and that once it was out of her hands, there'd be no controlling the fallout.
Good.
Her hands?
So she is manipulating something. They're having an
Her
affair.
hands?
They're definitely having an affair.
I
At
am
work.
very suspicious of this. There'd be no controlling the fallout. What finally pushed me was how vague the PIP was. No benchmarks, no concrete expectations, just language about professional growth and continued concerns. It felt like a paper trail, not a plan. I scheduled a meeting with HR and went in expecting it to be quick. It wasn't. The HR rep, I'll call her Diane, was polite but clearly cautious. She asked me directly whether I thought Mark was targeting me because of my relationship with Lena, and also whether this complaint could be retaliatory on my part because of personal conflict.
Oh, straight to the point.
Ew. That question honestly threw me. I hadn't even thought of it that way. She explained that when there's a family connection involved, HR has to consider whether the complaint itself could be motivated by personal issues rather than workplace misconduct. Well, you've got a lot of proof. You got so much proof.
And you got a lot of people that'll back you up
Yeah.
too. Maybe mentioning that.
Yeah, and say like, hey, these people have said that they don't want to get involved, but would answer questions if they were asked directly.
Why? Again, why is this guy doing this to you?
I don't know.
I that's the root that I need to know.
Yeah. According to the notes on my file, Mark had already raised concerns about my emotional responses and difficulty accepting feedback, which Diane said made it harder to immediately separate performance issues from conflict. At that point, I was sweating and felt like I'd messed up by coming at all. That's when I pulled out what I had. Nice! Yes, everyone, if you're ever experiencing something like this at a job, receipts.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them all. My notes, screenshots, emails, schedule changes. I showed her the timeline of when my hours dropped, the write-ups compared to Josh's, and the side-by-side emails where Mark added critical language to mine but not to others. I also pointed out that none of my supposed issues had been raised in my initial onboarding reviews. Diane got quieter as we went through it. She asked to keep copies. She also asked me again whether I was asking for disciplinary action against Mark. Told her no. I said I just wanted the behavior documented and to stop. I even said that if they moved me under a different supervisor, I'd be fine with that.
Diana knows something.
She told me they'd need to investigate and that I shouldn't discuss it with coworkers. She also said very carefully that HR's role wasn't to take side, but to protect the company. I left that meeting feeling worse than when I went in. I honestly thought I might have just made myself look paranoid. By the way, you guys wouldn't be paranoid if you thought that there were full episodes of stories just like this waiting for you on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. All you gotta do is search up OK Storytime. You're not paranoid. It's all there. But there,
dude,
he's a little bit left to this story.
Okay, an affair's happening.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any hint of embezzlement.
A little hint of embezzlement, you know.
Or anything that's like doing some weird company stuff. Affair's the thing that I'm leading with.
Yeah.
You?
I was on affair, but now I'm like, that would be so much worse if it was an affair because of, like, I know they're not technically related, but it would be really icky if that was happening.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe it's just because he's brother-in-law and he's like, no one's good enough for my sister-in-law. That's
brother-in-law. If it was brother, yeah.
Yeah.
Brother-in-law?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know.
I don't like it. Anyways.
There's a little bit left. Over the next couple of weeks, HR interviewed people quietly. Josh texted me one night just saying they asked me about schedules. That was it. When Lena found out HR was involved, she said I'd gone behind her back after she explicitly asked me not to. Well, OP didn't say yes. OP didn't promise that he wouldn't. She said the fact that HR initially questioned my motives proved I was wrong to escalate. Then Mark was suspended, then eventually fired.
What?
Diane called me to close things out. Dang. As she said, the termination was based on retaliation, inconsistent documentation, and failure to disclose a conflict of interest. She didn't apologize. She didn't say I was right. She just said the case was resolved. Lena says I still should have trusted her and let it go. I say I gave it weeks and kept losing grounds. So, am I the a-hole? And there are some comments.
No, I would hate to go to work every day and be targeted and written up for an email that I sent wrong.
Yeah, I like for the most inane things, it seems. I would break up with Lena. It doesn't seem like you've broken up with her, but I feel like she was colluding against you.
Is she hot though?
She must be. You're one of our own. So you are not an a-hole, and I would have said you could have gone to HR sooner.
Yeah.
I would be strongly reconsidering the relationship with Lena because she lied to you, then actively diminished all of your, frustrations, concerns, everything,
Minimized
and then,
them.
Minimized when it was proven that he was retaliating against you.
Bro got fired.
Yeah, he got fired. He wouldn't have gotten fired if OP if OP was in the wrong. But there are some comments. Comment 1 says, not the a-hole. Is Lena related to Mark? If not, it sounds like they were having an affair. Which is what I said and what you said. I hope not. That's a little weird. She was certainly making a lot of excuses for his inexcusable behavior, and that is the end of that story.
My employer took $1,500 from my check, then things got worse.
Well, about $1,500 worse.
Hi everyone, I am not from this area. I moved here 7 months ago, and I currently work for a small, locally owned business. I have a degree in IT. I received an email 2 days ago from one of the owners that they would be taking away my health insurance effective November 1st due to not meeting the 35-hour requirement.
I don't know anything about that.
By the way, this comes from Silver Act 8165, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I'm scheduled for only 37 hours a week. I've asked for more. If I miss one 8-hour day, I slip below their required amount of hours. It has never been an issue in the months before until now. Plus, the days I missed were signed off on by them and were approved vacation time. I unfortunately believe this to be retaliatory for the $1,500 I reported missing from my paycheck this month, as this was the same email where they admitted it was missing. Not very slick.
I'm not a lawyer, but I certainly think you should talk to one.
I would agree. Anyways, they said they would be cutting it off November 1st, 2 days after the email, and only when I pointed out that the deduction for November had already been taken out from my check, they moved it to December 1st. Obviously, I unfortunately need to get out of here, which stinks because I like all of my coworkers and my direct supervisor very much. I have a disease that makes it so I should really never be without health insurance. It'll unalive me in 50 years, but I'd prefer to not have it be sooner. I've been saving to cover a marketplace plan for a few months. Where in Madison, Wisconsin, can I get health insurance fairly quickly, under 3 months? Either while I find and apply to something else, or somewhere I can stay for a long time that will hire me fairly quickly. I've done the math, and because my rent and car payment are cheap, I only need to make $18 to $20 an hour. That's so nice. I want that. I could get away with less if I just want to live and not save anything. I have 7 years experience in customer service, 2 to 3 years in sales, 2 to 3 in hardware troubleshooting, and 2 to 3 in a healthcare setting. I just graduated with my degree in IT in May, but have had a full-time job 24/7 since I was 15. I have applied to Quick Trip, Amazon, Costco. Oh, they're going to love that I'm dropping all these names. The healthcare tech company, Walmart, Starbucks, Home Depot, and a plethora of other businesses. Amazon and Costco have called me back. Costco could get me in as a seasonal, but won't offer any health insurance. I have an offer from Amazon to start the 18th, but the shift schedule would be 1 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., and I would prefer not to do that. Obviously, I'm happy to if it's my only option. I figured the people who are from here and or know the area better could give me more ideas. Using my degree is not a necessity. As long as I have health insurance, I am more than happy to clean floors, wash dishes, anything, etc. Thanks. We have an update, but what are your thoughts?
I hope you get your health insurance.
Yeah, to be honest, I think I would just get one on the marketplace, and then if I got a job that offered it, I would reassess then. But I don't know if this goes for everywhere, but in the past, because I still have health insurance for 1 more week, guys. And then I turned 26, but if a job offered me health insurance and I didn't want it because I already had a good one through my parents, they would just pay me a stipend of what they would have used for my health insurance instead. So I know that's an option with a good amount of companies. So I feel like I would just find my own for now and figure that out later when I got a job.
Honestly, my biggest advice to you would be leave this country. Because if you have a chronic medical condition that's going to delete you in 50 years, go live somewhere where they don't treat you like you've done something wrong because you have an illness, aka America. Go figure out how to emigrate somewhere with your degree or your skills to get a job somewhere that they're just yeah, you can just have healthcare. We tax you. And look, the world isn't falling down around you. You know, it's true. I can't imagine being chronically ill in this country. My number one priority would be to get out of here and become a citizen in a different country. There's a lot of upsides to America. Healthcare is not one of them. In fact, it is maybe the biggest downside of living in this country. So move to Spain or Germany or England or Canada or, I don't know, Morocco. I don't know if the Moroccan healthcare system is very tight, but Japan.
Japan's a very expensive country.
Yeah, but Japan has very inexpensive healthcare.
Yeah, but he'd be like, he's coming from Wisconsin pricing.
Get out.
Yeah, I would say marketplace until you can do any of that, though. I've heard it's lovely. I'll be checking that out soon.
I would unironically rather uproot my entire life than work for Amazon from 1 a.m. to 11:30 in Wisconsin.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if you're IT, if there's like any form of like union or something for that, and like what
know.
that
Definitely
would come
not for
with.
Amazon.
Not for Amazon, but just like IT, like other IT jobs in general kind of thing. Like, because I didn't make enough hours for it, but if I did, I'd have free health insurance through my editing one. Update. So, as you all know, I needed to get out of my previous job very quickly. I applied to hundreds of jobs in the span of a week or so, and I was having multiple interviews each day. It was crazy. Thankfully, my supervisor at the old job was very understanding and disagreed strongly with the owner taking away my health insurance. So he let me leave whenever for interviews. Prior to any of this fiasco happening, I had met the owner at Misty Mountain Games while playing a game there on the east side, and he had asked if I would run the counter a couple of nights a week after my primary job.
I wonder if did we get this story from the Madison, Wisconsin subreddit?
I play games there routinely, so I was excited, and I had already sent him my availability. He asked me to come in while this fiasco was going on to meet some of the staff and nail down exactly when I'd be working. I went and met everyone, and they were all wonderful, but I had to tell the owner that my availability wouldn't be the same as what I had sent prior, and I wasn't sure yet what exactly it would be. He asked why, so I told him what had happened and that I was going to be changing jobs. He asked if he gave me health insurance if I would come work there full time. And I said yes, of course. I had offers from Costco, Starbucks, Amazon, and lots of other retail places and various local businesses. Thank you all for the suggestions. And by the way, I suggest that you all go listen to more full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left.
God, this country is so weird.
You want to hear how weird it's gonna get? Ready for this? Ready for this next sentence? I make more here than any of those other offers. It makes more at his tiny business.
Good. Good for you. Yeah, the billion trillion dollar companies can't pay you as good as the guy. A guy.
More than I need to live off and save, like I mentioned in my post. I also did not have to wait at all for my health insurance like all the other places. And the owner even backdated my health insurance start date for me. I have better insurance through courts at that, and paid time off here versus at my last job. Seriously. I just wanted to post and say how thankful I am to all of you for your help. Some of you even sent me specific job listings, which was going so far out of your way to help. I was so scared. I am so grateful to all of you for the reassurance, encouragement, and help. Happy holidays to you all. I can't thank you enough. And that's the end of that story.
Well, I'm glad you found that individual.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It's a much better plan than having to uproot your entire life and move to a different continent. But that would have genuinely been my plan. So I'm glad you didn't do that one.
My boyfriend is jealous of me financially, so I told him I won't get a job.
You know what? I'm done. You win.
I have been dating my boyfriend for a little bit over a year now. We met through mutual friends and had a pretty usual relationship until now. It wasn't perfect, but we never fought much. He works as a manager in a restaurant while I'm still at university. By the way, this comes from Wenwanu, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says... His life was pretty difficult from the start since he grew up with heavy drinker parents and not much support in general. Since day one, he had to work hard for even the most basic things. He couldn't allow himself to get higher education. He had to continuously work since he entered adulthood. I, on the other hand, have a big family that always supports each other. When I started going to university, they continued to financially support me. My parents help with the bills and give me some allowance. Grandparents, aunts, and uncles also often send things here and there. I'm on the campus for my lectures most of the time, but I also tutor 3 times a week, getting enough money from it for groceries. I'm good at living below my needs and saving, so I don't need that much cash. All that background is needed for you to understand where our conflict started. Around a month ago, my boyfriend started making little comments about my financial situation. He would say, "It's nice to spend someone else's money." Or "You wouldn't survive if you had to work for all that money the way I do."
No, he's not. Stop. Triggering.
I immediately caught on to those comments, but I didn't think it would grow into something more. I thought that maybe he's just fussy because he's overworked.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to be understanding, knowing it must be difficult for him to work as much as he does.
Yep.
I proposed that maybe we should move in together to lessen the burden of all the bills on him.
That's
terrible
a terrible
idea.
That's a
You already have
terrible idea.
financial problems.
And he's being very passive aggressive towards you, and you want to move in with that.
Beep, beep, beep. Let's reverse.
Back it up.
I even said that I can help him with some groceries from time to time. Beep, beep, beep. He called that insulting and said that he could never agree to either of those ideas.
Right. He's too much of a man. He has too much of an ego, too much pride that gets in your way of ever actually having a connection with someone. Got it. Clocked you immediately.
Yep. Unfortunately, it got worse.
Yep.
It feels like almost every day we fight as he calls me lazy, a trust fund baby, or says that I don't know what real life feels like. He also started sending me random job listings, telling me to apply, even though I don't have any time for those jobs. The biggest fight was yesterday.
I need to know, A, how hot is he? B, how good is he in bed? Because there's nothing else he's contributing. No way you're saying, he's a nice guy.
Don't sound like he a giver.
He definitely don't provide.
The next step is he's going to ask to look at her bank account.
Mm-hmm. The biggest fight was yesterday. He came over to my home for dinner, and while I was cleaning, started talking about another job listing. By that point, I was at my limit after seeing like 100th random job offer. I blew up at him, angrily telling him to stop telling me to get a job, that university is my job and my main focus. I must admit that I said some mean things along the lines of, "You only want me to get a job because you're jealous of my situation, of my family's support," which is true.
I was like,
Well, because why does he's like,
wrong.
no, I don't want to put that burden on you of paying for any of my stuff. Like, I don't want you to pay for groceries or pay for rent or anything, but you need to get a job though.
Yeah.
You're not working enough.
Yeah.
You're just studying. You're studying. This isn't a job.
He continues, he stormed out and doesn't really talk to me now. He sends short messages back, but he doesn't pick up his phone. I tried apologizing, but he tells me that he needs time to think everything through.
Whatever, dude.
Why do you need to apologize?
Was I truly that harsh? How do I make him see my point? Or maybe he has a better point and I should deny my family's support, filling my schedule to the brim with uni and work. Is there even a way for us to reconcile? Please help. This is my first serious relationship and I don't want to mess it up.
That's
and we have an update.
That's why. So
But-
it's OP's first real relationship.
Yeah.
Eee.
I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Keon says, first relationship, obvious. Savannah, what do you think?
I'm throwing at this point. I'm sorry, but like that's gonna piss me off.
Yeah.
Do not tell me how to handle my finances just because your family doesn't support you. Just because you came from a crap family, I have to feel bad for you. Everyone has to feel bad. You're a victim. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh. Don't even freaking get me started.
If OP had a habit of being like, I don't have to work, I'm, and rubbing in his face or acting as if she had the same struggles as him. Like if she were acting rudely in any way, I would get it. But it seems like she's just going to school and also being supported. And he is jealous. Incredibly jealous of that, to the point where he's gonna make it your problem and try to sabotage you. So don't fall for it.
I really don't like that we're only on story 2 and I already want to flip the table.
Well, we got an update. A lot of the comments advised me to break up, but I couldn't just do that.
Of course. Me too.
Of course.
I get it.
I wanted to at least try and talk it out, foolishly hoping that suddenly we would find common ground and fix everything. A few days after the fight, he finally called me to set up a meeting to discuss everything. Between the fight and the setup meeting, I've been looking for some solutions myself. Per advice on here and from my IRL friends, I tried looking for some outside support, and I researched some well-rated but cheap therapists around the area. When we finally met, he was the one who really wanted to speak first. He told me that he appreciated that I gave him a few days of space to think things through. Then he said that he hates to do it to me, but he needs to give me an ultimatum. Of course he does. I hate to do it, but I have to. If I want to stay with him, I need to find a job and cut financial support from my family by the end of the month.
What's the other option?
That's actually an insane thing to do to the person that you supposedly love.
What's the other option?
I could see that no butt in the world could sway him to change that choice for him.
Not even mine?
No, that could work. I didn't even have a chance to mention the help I've been researching, kind of freezing for a moment instead. It might sound silly, but I've never experienced love disappear as quickly as it did in that moment.
And now you're in a heap of trouble.
Oh, so you want to talk about mothers?
Oh, you want me to struggle like you struggled. Oh, right, because I would never understand that unless I just cut off my family for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to pull the ladder out from under. I didn't even know that was possible. His words broke whatever charm he had and made me see that ultimatum for what it truly was. His attempt at managing my life to match whatever idea he had in his mind. Thank God you didn't move in with this guy.
Yeah, honestly, and I'm gonna give the award to your family for having you have a great support system and great friends that look after you and not just be like,
oh, I don't know, I guess you should just do this if you love them.
Yes, honestly, great point. Because OP saw this blazing red flag and went, oh, I know what real love is like. Not this. Bye.
Yeah.
And that is
exactly.
I completely agree. That is a huge testament to the love and support that you already have.
Yep. Good for you, OP.
Completely agree. All the comments from here flooded my mind as I realized that all of you were correct. Sorry for even doubting you all. I broke things off immediately. I wish I could say that I told them something smart or cheeky, but I literally just said, I'm done, and left.
Nice.
That is smart and cheeky. Tearing up the whole way back home. He called and messaged me a lot since then, saying that maybe we can discuss things. Oh, now we can? That it doesn't have to be an ultimatum. Oh, really?
You know what I'm going to have to say? Refer to my book, Too Little, Too Late.
Yes.
Chapter, let's see, I think 16 now. Get out of here.
Opie says, I don't think there's a way of fixing things. By the way, I know that we can fix things if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up Poke Storytime. We've got a little bit left. Do we have any other final thoughts?
Other than being physical.
Physical. I think you should physically leave, which you already did. And know that you have a support system and trust your gut because your gut's right. I'd be lying if I said that I don't have any love left for him. It was my first serious relationship that I thought might genuinely last, but now it turned into my first serious breakup. Things are a bit difficult now as I grieve the idea of my first love, but I know that I'll get better sooner or later. If you were me, what would you tell mutual friends in a situation like this? I'm already getting asked by our friends about what exactly happened, but I'm worried that if I tell them the truth, this whole drama will continue and people will be talking about it and I won't be able to emotionally rest from the situation.
Well, girl, you gotta
tell trusted people.
You gotta tell people. You gotta let that out. You gotta talk about it. You gotta talk through it.
People are gonna keep asking you, like, what happened to
people are gonna
your
talk
ex?
Either way, whether you give them a story or don't. People are gonna talk, so you might as well just get the facts straight.
I'm tempted to just tell them it was a mutual breakup or something just to be done with it and leave it in the past. And that's the end of that story.
Oh, OP.
I feel like she's just kind of embarrassed.
Yeah. And you have nothing to be embarrassed about.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, you thought this was going to be great, and then all of a sudden your world flipped, and it's like, oh, now I have to explain that to everyone.
I think OP is going to be like, oh, people are going to judge me. Like, I think I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, no.
For doing the right thing.
You're not.
Yeah, he's not good for you. And truthfully, I don't think he's good to himself either.
Yeah, OP, this
seems
is
like he secretly hates himself and then is projecting that onto you.
Yeah, OP, this is your first real relationship.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn, and you're gonna find someone, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I'm not with that
What
guy.
a breath of freaking fresh air, right?
Yeah.
My boss demoted me because she blamed me for her failed marriage.
Ooh, that sounds complicated.
Okay, you juicy Redditors browsing, hear me out. I, 24 female, in the last years lost over half my body weight, 100 kilograms to 155 kilograms, and I've worked hard to grow into my own experience, spending over half of my life bigger than you could say, and I'm learning to live this lifestyle. I went from the invisible funny fat kid to the girl who can't walk down the street without getting overloaded with attention. Personally, I hate it, but that's another conversation. I guess whenever people appreciate you for your jokes rather than your looks, that can be annoying.
I get both.
I think
people only want to look at you because you're hot, not because you're funny.
Yeah.
So how can you look at someone and be like, they're funny?
Well, that's what OP had to do her whole life, was like, they had to get to know her to know how funny she was, not just getting looked at. By the way, this comes from Katie Perv, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Angie.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, all right? You comment down below your experiences, and we'll read them. By the way, OP says, this seems to get me into a lot of trouble with people I don't think twice about. Plenty of times, being friendly and kind, as I always have been, is now interpreted as flirtatious behavior, which is almost always furthest from my intention. I just want to wear some effing shorts and not be noticed. Now, my boss, 28 female, has been engaged to her partner, 22 female, since I've worked at my job. We've been friendly on a coworker level, but I've never been anything more. We have very different personalities. They only got married 4 months ago. My boss's partner cheated on her a month after with her ex, 23 male, who she originally cheated on with my boss. I know, the beauty of life. Holy cow. And the player's gonna play. And the cheater's gonna
cheat.
And I'm just gonna
read.
Now, for some reason, completely unknown to me, her partner hated the thought of me. I've come to the conclusion it's because she could probably tell my boss has a bit of a work crush on me and was letting her own insecurities project onto me. Long story short, she blamed me not only for working at this job, but for even existing. For her cheating on my boss.
What?
So that hottie you work with, yeah, that's the reason I cheated on you.
I blame OP for existing. What?
Well, of course I had to cheat on you. Then you have this hottie right here next to you. How am I supposed to not cheat on you when you obviously have someone that you could cheat with? Come on, I was just getting ahead of things. That's all.
Babe, I cheated on you the other day because Keon's cheeks are just so thick. Wait, no, that's not how that works. Let's just erase that. Erase that from everyone's memory.
I can't.
It's like if Angie cheated on me because Keon's so hot. That makes no sense. That'd be a
Again,
crazy excuse.
What do you mean?
That's exactly what this woman is doing, pretty much.
Are you not saying I'm hot?
Well, this is a hypothetical situation.
Anyways, we're moving on.
Are we? No. Let's please stay on it.
They separated, and my boss shot her shot. Okay, how did she shoot this shot? Angie, you can answer. 1, like Shaquille O'Neal shooting a three-pointer. 2, like Steph Curry shooting a three-pointer. Or 3, like
Wayne Gretzky.
Michael Jordan shooting a three-pointer.
No, 2 of those were fine.
No. If you think about it, only one of those were perfect.
I'm going to think it's not perfect. So give me the names again real fast.
Shaquille, Curry, or Jordan. Michael Jordan.
I'm going to say that it wasn't great. Like Shaquille O'Neal.
That's correct, because he only dunks, and he only made 2 three-pointers in his NBA career. Congrats.
Only 2?
Yeah.
Wow.
He doesn't shoot out there.
Okay.
He's broken more rims than he has shot three-pointers.
Oh my God. What do you do if that happens in a game?
They just pull out another one.
Everyone goes crazy.
Yeah, he's the
They're ready
reason
for
they
it.
have multiple, like, basketball goals now.
That's crazy.
I know. Anyways, sorry. They separated, and my boss shot her shot. I very kindly and gently let her know I wasn't interested in developing a relationship, but I was happy to support her and be a friend. It lasted a whole week before they were coming and doing their own shopping like nothing ever happened. Firstly, you do you, boo. It's your life. And if you want to let someone disrespect you like that, I'm not here to judge. Secondly, I made her a dang gift basket. While this would seem irrelevant,
I was informed by my coworkers and my boss that her partner had said, if you fire her, I'll get back together with you.
Oh.
What? What?
Oh my God.
so-
Is this going to happen?
It's a control thing. I think this whole relationship is about control.
Yeah, I think you're right. It must be.
Now, I've been doing training to take a promotion offered to me a few weeks ago. I've basically been working the role for 12 months just without the pay or title. Yay for billion-dollar corporations. I've been preparing for a little, getting everything they asked for me done. Today, the big manager came to let me know they had offered my boss's little sister the role and wanted me to take over her position. My position would be irrelevant because I've been in training for the promotion. This would mean I would go from overnight contracts to early morning contracts, which my body clock hates. I would lose my night rates and would be on my base, a drop of over $15 an hour, and I lose the rates I'd gain overseeing the department as IC2. Most sadly, I'd be losing my night team, who are like a little family to me. While I do believe the role should be offered among everyone to be inexclusive, it made the least amount of sense to rip someone from a completely different department with no experience. So I guess the boss said something to a manager and was like, hey, you should put that person there.
Yeah. Oh my God. HR immediately. If there's anything that you can do to like prove that any of these conversations happened,
Yeah.
then like, I mean, even if you can't technically prove it, like still bring it up.
You can't in HR, can't you be like, hey, by the way, this happened. This person hit on me. I just want to put it on record. I think you can.
I think you can do that.
Is that right? Who works for a corporation? Is that true?
But I'm thinking too, like, say that, but also say the things that the wife said, like fire her or I'll break up with you.
Yeah, if you can, or
Or
if you have
I'll get
traces
back
of that.
together if you fire her. Yeah.
What are you laughing at, Keon?
Just you yelling at the mic saying, anyone who works for a big corporation,
Yeah.
Let me know.
Say it loud.
right now.
HR. Riri says, yeah, this is where you go to HR, explain the role that was offered to the sister due to a quid pro quo harassment situation. I very much am not upset about losing the promotion. I'm quite upset about the lack of appreciation for my hard work. The timing of me shutting my boss down and her getting back with her partner seems suspicious. The absolute disrespect. Ha 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 ha. And if you respect us, go to your favorite podcast platform right now, okay? Go to the search bar, put in OK Storytime, and you can do this on Apple, iRadio, Spotify, whatever, and listen to another story. Only if you respect us. We got a little bit more here.
Get right into it, I think.
Yeah, HR is the only answer. Now, I'm supposed to give an answer by Sunday, and quite obviously, I'll be saying go me F yourself, professionally, of course. Anyways, I'm obviously leaving that job. I'm contemplating between moving away right now, which I've been saying I'm going to do for years now, and maybe this punt in the butt is what I needed. Or if I play it out until I get my license back in March and find a new job while still living in this town. But anyway, my life is spiraling lately, so I thought I'd give a summary of the one wacky adventures of this little thing called my life. Please, for the love of the Lord above, ask if there are any little deets you're passing away to know. Love y'all, and stop existing and ruining marriages. LOL. That's what she said.
XOXO Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that was one of our own, right?
Yeah, that was one of our own, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, HR. Take pictures. Get all your eggs in a basket. And, yeah, because you can sue for that.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh
That's
boy.
insane. Get that boy fired.
Yeah, that...
My husband lied about his work dinner because I'm not his wife yet. Those things are completely separate situations. I, 26 female, was with my boyfriend, 28 male, for 4 years. We built a life together, met each other's families, and even worked on moving in together once my lease was up. We talked seriously about the future. By the way, this comes from Remarkable Golf 5143, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, lately, though, things haven't been great. The relationship had been rocky for a while. Communication was off, there was distance, and I often felt like I was doing most of the emotional work. Even so, I stayed and tried to fix it because 4 years felt like something worth fighting for. He told me he had a work dinner and said it was employees only. I didn't question it, since usually these company functions encourage bringing partners. I've been trying to keep the peace lately instead of creating more tension between us. The next day, I saw a post on Instagram from a coworker of his. Like I said, his company is very family-oriented and usually encourages partners to attend events like this. Her post mentioned that partners were welcome, and he was in multiple photos sitting right next to her, looking very comfortable together. What made it worse was that people in his office openly call her his work wife. I had heard him mention that before. That's not good. I don't like that. And it had always bothered me, but he brushed it off as a harmless office joke. Seeing her post him like that, knowing people already framed them that way, made me feel sick. That's when it clicked that he hadn't been honest with me. When I asked him about it, he said he didn't think it was a big deal and that he didn't want things to be awkward because we aren't married. Huh? You didn't want to bring your girlfriend to the office gathering because you were married and what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, why would that matter?
How would that make it awkward? Like, oh, this is my... What am I supposed to call you? You're not my wife.
Yeah, like, this is my girlfriend.
Girlfriend, it's so lame. After 4 years together, that explanation felt like the old 1-2 in the gut. Okay. Well, the real question is, if he's so awkward about you not being his wife, why doesn't he propose to you?
Right? It's been 4 years.
Been 4 years? Doesn't feel like he wants to propose to you. It made me feel like I wasn't someone he wanted to openly claim in his life. I also asked why he spent the night sitting with her and why she was comfortable enough to post him online, especially with the work-wife dynamic. He got defensive and said I was overreacting and that she's just a coworker. But at this point, it wasn't just about the party. It felt like the final straw in a long line of moments where I felt pushed to the side. I just shut down and told him I was done. I was going to spend the night at his place, but I just packed my stuff and left. It's been a few days. Some of his friends have texted me saying I'm blowing things out of proportion for ending things over this, which I've ignored. He keeps calling, leaving voicemails and texts saying he's really sorry and wants to talk. I don't know anymore. Like, we spent so much time together, and maybe it was actually a lapse in judgment and I was being rash. Am I the a-hole? And there is an update. 4 days later, any thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. Like, good for you for, like, sticking to your, like, boundaries and being like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Screw you, basically. Like, I'm out.
It does feel quite quick.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
For 4 years?
Yes.
But maybe, if you're having this reaction, then maybe this, wasn't the right relationship for either of you.
Yeah, maybe if you have felt this way for a while, then, like, that makes sense to react that way. But I feel like, maybe give him the benefit of the doubt and stuff.
Or at least have another conversation. I probably would have had another conversation and said, this is how I feel. I don't want you to diminish it. I am upset that you didn't want to bring me. Why did you feel like it would have been awkward? Have a little bit of a longer conversation. And if at the end of it, he says, oh, well, I don't see you as like a long-term relationship, or, you have that revelation, or you're not getting the answers that you want, then maybe it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, everyone in the comments was right. I honestly wanted to believe it was just a stupid lapse in judgment or that I had made a rash decision after months of feeling unloved. But no, there really was something going on with the coworker. 2 days after my original post, we had to set up logistics for picking up the rest of my stuff from his apartment. He was still begging nonstop with calls, long voicemails, and paragraphs about how he never meant to hurt me and nothing was going on. My best friend came with me when I grabbed the last of my things, and even then he was still trying to convince me to talk, hear him out, give him another chance. He looked panicked, which honestly made me second-guess myself for half a second. By the way, you should never second-guess yourself about listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I mean, guy's a loser.
Yeah. 4 years, couldn't see what he had, chose this, nothing relationship with his coworker over you. So
I hate when, like, guys, like, you've been with them, like, 4 years, all this stuff, and he's like, oh, you can't come with me because, like, we're not married yet, blah, blah.
It's like, yeah, right.
But that's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you, sorry. But, I don't know what you want from me.
Nothing.
And then also the fact that it's like, Oh, so you're going to gaslight me, make me feel bad about that when it's not even my problem, and then not take me, and then also cheat on me, and then be like, no, take me back. No, you disgusting freak. Ew. Get out of here.
I couldn't have said it better myself. But fast forward to now, just a few days later, and guess who posted what on Instagram? The coworker, the work wife, the one he swore was just a coworker. She made a whole soft launch style post about how it's so lovely being partners in and out of the office. Full photos, them together, smiling, comfortable. Girl, that's not a soft launch. That is a hard launch.
Yeah, he launched it full
That's
blown.
a full launch. Very, very not new. So yeah, it wasn't in my head. It wasn't an overreaction, and it definitely wasn't just work. I'm hurt, but I'm also weirdly relieved. Everything makes sense now. The distance, the defensiveness, the lies over something as dumb as a company dinner. I didn't blow up a good relationship. I walked away from a man who already checked out and didn't have the respect or backbone to admit it. Blocking him was the easiest thing I've done in months. Thanks to everyone who told me I wasn't crazy. You were right. And honestly, I'm glad I trusted myself. Comments from the subreddit. Comment 1 says, my husband had a coworker try to claim she was his work wife at a team launch. He was furious, publicly shut it down, and requested that he not work with her closely again. By the time I heard about it that same evening, even HR knew he was unhappy about it. That's how a good partner responds when people disrespect your relationship in this way. Anyone who allows that kind of disrespect is not a good partner at all. And that is the end of that story, folks. It seems like OP made the right decision and trusted her gut, so good on ya.
Yeah, honestly, good for you, OP, for sticking to your gut and just knowing when to get out of there, because I know so many people, including myself, who would have been like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions, and I don't know, I miss him or something, and then you're back where you started.
I guess, this work office girl made it a lot easier when she posted the proof.
Yeah, for real.
I crashed out over Christmas music, and it made me lose my job.
Well, the Grinch doesn't work in Whoville for a reason.
The title says it all. I worked in a very tiny office. There were only 4 of us in an open floor plan space the size of a bedroom, and we were all little tiny 1-inch people. There was a glass wall separating us, 2 and 2, but it purposefully didn't provide much coverage so that we could collaborate or whatever. So this is literally severance. By the way, this comes from user Demorli99. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/showcase storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give you good advice, goofily, but we know nothing.
No.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know everything.
We don't know nothing.
But you know stuff. We're going to tell you what we know. You tell us what you know down in the comments. All of my coworkers were over the age of 65. I'm 35. It's like 65, 66, and 75. The 75-year-old man started playing Christmas music from the 1930s from his computer loud. Not nightclub loud, but I was struggling on phone calls and really to hear myself think. He played it all day long from 9 a.m. through when we left at 4 with no breaks. I think my other coworkers enjoyed the music, which is why it wasn't a problem for them. But when you're forced to listen to loud music you don't like, it gets really grating, especially when you have to actually get work done. Did we ask him to turn it down?
No, we just stole all of their Christmas instead.
Did you just see there silently like the Grinch?
You just hear, Fagutores.
Max.
Whoa.
I'm going to snap this man in half.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what he said. I heard it. I was there.
Oh, dang, I really hit that max.
That was good. That was
So, I don't like this Christmas music. It's really grating, especially because I have to actually get work done. And because when it's an endless, morose Christmas crooning echoing through a tiny office for hours. The man was acting like he was doing us a favor for office morale by playing the music. I'm not sure how the others were making phone calls, as they're hard of hearing to begin with. It all blew up when I asked my boss if he could either ask my coworker to wear headphones or just turn it off. This was on day 1. He said yes, but ignored me. Was there no way for us to do that?
Yeah, right? If you guys work so close together and there's not much, like, there's glass in between them, right? Like, they could see.
Yeah.
You could just go, knock, 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 and then you have a sign that says, say it's carolers. And then you pull the paper off, and then, and then you say, hey, our boss really doesn't like listening to Christmas music. Paper off. Can you quiet down? Then you're good. Then you're
Straight
good.
up, if I was your boss, I think I would ignore you too, because I'd be like, we're going to work on our problem-solving skills.
Right?
We're going to work on our self-reliant problem-solving skills by uttering one sentence to another person and say, hey, could you actually turn that down a little bit?
Yeah.
Day 2 rolls around, and he turns it on at 9 a.m. louder than yesterday. I was a little more upset, but not acting unreasonably yet.
You see the boss talking behind the glass, you don't hear what they're saying, and you think he's going, oh, you turn the music down, but really what he's saying is, hey, I really like that Christmas music, turn it up.
I really like it, turn it up, turn it up.
Turn it up,
Turn it up. We're working on making OP ask you to turn the music down, so we need to turn it up even louder today.
We need to grow his heart by 2 sizes somehow.
I'm sending this man
process.
to the hospital for an enlarged heart.
Yeah, it's a problem, actually.
So, I asked my boss again to fix the issue. He agreed again and proceeded to ignore me. So I had to do it myself. But I didn't want to do it because the man is old and not nice. I asked him if we could please wear headphones for music and that I was finding the music distracting. Polite, reasonable, he said no. This began my crash out. At this point, I was furious. The crooning was still going. I was struggling on the phone, and my boss watched in silence as the man refused to stop the music. And so please don't stop the music. Okay, but that's all we can say.
I said,
let the music continue.
Dunk, dunk, bonk, 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 dunk, dunk, bonk, bonk.
Let's keep the music going.
Dunk, dunk, dunk.
Dunk, 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 dunk. My boss watched in silence as the man refused to stop the music. My coworker shut the door between us, and it muffled it a bit, but it did not fix it. And you know what? Something you'll never have to fix is the fact that you can listen to full episodes with stories like this one on your favorite podcast platforms.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking iHeartRadio.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking Apple Podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
All you gotta do is search OK Storytime. All you gotta do is search it.
Search it.
And you've got a bottomless well of
true.
stories to draw from.
It'll last you through the new year. And probably next year, too. Honestly.
I think we just start playing our own music.
Okay.
So you bring in your own music.
Yeah.
You play it louder than his music.
Sure.
You also bring earplugs.
Okay.
So you are muffling the music for yourself.
Yeah.
And, you just take your calls on cell phone.
Sure. Those exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this. When my boss opened the door to ask me if that helped the problem, and by opening the door, flooded my office again with full volume ancient Christmas music, I blew my top and yelled, No! The question was phrased like I was the source of the problem. Like, hey, did that minor but unacceptable tweak fix your problem with your coworker's noise? After that, I left the building. You just left work? Yeah, of course you got fired. I am now unemployed from a job I was at for 3 years. I feel ridiculous and stupid that it all happened over Christmas music, but it's hard to explain just how much the constant horrible noise was grating on my ability to exist and work. Well, good news is you're unemployed, so you don't have to go back to work now.
Yeah, you're good. You can listen to no Christmas music if you'd like. Live up in a mountain with your dog.
It does almost feel like they were like, let's get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
Let's make this guy lose his brain so he will get fired. We can fire this guy.
We found the way. We found what makes him literally tick. And
it's old, like...
And he sure did talk.
Well, when you go down to the Christmas tree and you hang an ornament for you and me, and then when we go back to our house, we sit in separate rooms. Because it's 1930 and we're good. And
exactly.
And then they just go, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Pushed me to the end of my rope and made me lose my cool. I would have been reasonable if maybe it had been like Christmas music during lunch hour or something, But I'm just so confused how anyone thought it was okay to operate in an office like that.
Merry Christmas, Merry
Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Anyway, cross your fingers for my unemployment appeal. Oh, and that is the end of that story. My coworker said he just wanted to be friends, but he kept buying me things.
Buying you things as friends.
Maybe they were spicy things.
Oh, not friends.
I, 18 female, started a new job in October. My coworker, 27 male, immediately started talking to me my first day there. I would talk to him in group settings, but he would always try to get me to go with him to his car to breaks, etc. After about a week of me working there. He started bringing me Starbucks in the morning and even packing me lunch. By the way, this comes from Diva420. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
We're going to read this story and give you maybe some good advice. Might be a little goofy. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, after 3 weeks, he had planned an entire date to go get dinner and ice cream. I told him I did not want to go and I would only like to be friends at work, and he said he understood. He kept bringing me lunch and buying me food, but I just kept it friendly and professional and never went anywhere with him alone. Flash forward to December and my battery had drained at work and I asked him to jump it, and he had absolutely no idea what he was doing, if I'm being honest. And on my way home, it quite literally caught on fire and he gave me $400 the next day.
What? How do you do it that wrong?
I don't know.
How do you do it that wrong that you start driving before it catches on fire? I feel like that might have just been a car problem.
Yeah, I don't know if that was him, but I don't know enough to know that for certain. Because I've never been dumb enough to do that wrong. Because it's very easy.
Yeah, how do you mess that up?
You put the red on the thing. You put the black on the thing. Ta-da!
On 2 cars.
And if I'm like,
twice.
If I'm like, I don't know what to do. Boop beep, bop beep, boop beep. How do I jump my car? I don't know. That's yeah. I never said it was his fault or blamed him, but I don't know. I tried to refuse the money and then afterwards told him I really don't want him to be giving me money or buying me things really at all because I feel like it's something that can be held over my head. He said it's not like that he does this for all of his friends. Then on Christmas, he shows up to work with Uggs and AirPods, both very expensive things.
I just like the implication that he makes everyone's car set on fire.
No, you don't understand. This happens every time. I have a slush fund of $400 payments to give to people whose cars I light on fire. This is, I don't know. This guy's so persistent. It makes me question, did he make your car light on fire? Maybe you just had a really bad battery.
Yeah, I think that might have just been a car issue.
He said it was because he felt bad about the car and he was trying to make up for the things that I've lost, but I've never said that I lost Uggs or AirPods in the car because I've never even owned Uggs or AirPods. I don't know. Wait a minute. Time out. Did we skip over the fact that your car lit on fire and then fully was on fire and your car is gone? Did that happen? That didn't happen, right? Because implying you lost things in the car.
Well, yeah, the car was on fire.
But a little on fire or
I think once it's on fire, it's on fire.
Those fires can go out.
How?
Here's $400. Your whole car is on fire.
Well, he didn't set it on fire.
Did he?
We think.
As far as we know. I then explained to him again that I only wanted to be friends and that all of these gifts and everything was just too much for me. And I just don't like it. And he said again that he understood and he was worried that I would think that, but he doesn't want anything with anyone. And then he said he's been talking to other coworkers about the situation. Insane. He doesn't understand why I brought it up because he knew that I just wanted to be friends and everything. And he's just making things awkward with other people that work with us. And I just don't know if I'm in the wrong. Well, I certainly know that however you phrased those sentences was wrong. I still have the gifts, but I don't know. Am I the a-hole? Not, what?
No.
Are you the a-hole?
That was the question we went for.
Are you the a-hole for what? I'm still trying to decipher your wording here.
Which again shows that you are 18 and your 27-year-old coworker is giving you lavish gifts and maybe setting your car on fire.
I gotta say, I don't know if this is the right or wrong thing, but if I was being given gifts by someone and I didn't want to date them and they just kept giving me stuff, I would just keep taking them. I would just keep taking them after being like, yeah, you know that that's not going to happen, right? And they go, yeah, here's my friend. I go, nice. Thanks for the Uggs. Thanks for the AirPods. Here's a little wish list. Send that over to your email.
Yeah.
C'est la vie, man. Get it while the getting's good. Okay, so OP says, I work in a warehouse, so all of this definitely gets overlooked by higher-ups. He also has been with the company since they started, and I'm pretty much brand new compared to everyone else. It sucks because I really like this job. I have talked to other people, and it seems like this has been a problem with other people in the past, including leads and managers, which is interesting to me. I've been declining recent offers after the Christmas gifts. He had asked if I wanted Starbucks and Cane's on 2 separate occasions, and I declined, both times. He's backed off since then, but has been switching his normal tasks to be closer to me, even though we aren't talking. My other coworkers are definitely tuned in on it, though. I had already talked to a supervisor, and they basically said the only thing they can do is move me. He's worked there for 5 years, since the company started, and other coworkers have said this is a repeat incident. We have HR, but I work in a warehouse, and this is the last thing they care about. They care way more about seniority than their employees' safety. He's been there for 4 years, so they do not care. I've been there for 4 months. I actually have made very good friends with some of my coworkers, a dad and a daughter my age. There's also a few other dads and moms that I talk to there, and I very much have made a work family in the time I've worked there, and they all definitely think the situation is weird as well. We live in a state with open records, and I've searched him up. The only thing there is a Dewey. D-U-I. I asked him for jumper cables after I asked about 10 other people, and I had someone with me. The car was old and had a lot of miles on it, but I took it to get checked regularly. The only thing that was wrong with it was the tiniest oil leak that they had found about a month before this, but I kept up on it and had just had my car checked a week prior to the fire. My sister was working with me at the time, and she had the battery on without the engine while she was on break, which is what caused it to fully drain. I only had liability insurance, so it wasn't covered. When I say it caught on fire, I mean the entire car pretty much went up in flames. It started under the hood, but we aren't 100% sure why. They said they think the cause was the hood prop not being clipped into place, but they could not tell with how much it was damaged. It was definitely not repairable, and I lost everything that was in it. I understand I shouldn't have accepted the gifts now, but I am young and freshly 18 and out of high school. I haven't had the best home life growing up, and the only person I've had around is my dad. I've had to learn a lot of things on my own, and I tend to take advice from people around me, and a lot of my coworkers were telling me to just accept the stuff. Not everything is free in life, and most people would have taken the things. Verdict, not the a-hole. And I gotta say, all those people saying don't take this stuff.
No, don't take the stuff.
It depends on your temperament. I'm a person who would take the stuff. And then if that guy laid a finger on me, it would be a clock. It would be a clock, you know? It would be a clock. That was Mace, by the way. But that's just me. I was raised by a woman who was essentially a cowboy. So
don't take the gifts.
Get yours. Why is it her fault?
It's not her fault, but she shouldn't take the gifts.
Just take the gifts. And
no,
then
she
it's
should
like,
stay away from this man as much as possible.
Yeah,
Don't take the gifts.
And
Don't
stay
take the
away
gifts.
from him.
No.
Stay away from him and take the gifts.
I don't think you can do both.
I think she is, though. Or she has.
She was.
Well, she works with him, but that's it.
Go to HR. Put in a report.
Hi, everyone. So I genuinely was not going to post an update about this because the situation had honestly calmed down. He had not talked to me or anything since I confronted him about everything and had kept my distance. I definitely took into consideration everything that you guys had said. I did not give the gifts back. He wasn't talking to me, and I was not going to initiate that. I have talked to my HR, and they are pretty much not going to do anything. I've switched to a part-time role, and I'm looking for a new job. Now, the reason I'm updating is because yesterday I got a message from a random number. I'm going to paste it here, but star out the name. Hey, it's super weird guy from your work. I got your number off the work app. I'm sorry about everything. I wanted to hit you up sooner, but I didn't want to bother you. Honestly, I miss hanging out with you and hearing you laugh and talk about whatever was on your mind. Whoop, whoop. It was one of the best parts of my day. It bums me out how things went down, but I just wanted to thank you for being an awesome friend. I miss you, and I hope you're doing well. When I got this message, I was extremely creeped out and concerned, considering the fact we do not have a work app that shows our numbers. And considering just everything that was said in that message in general, we were never close like that, and we hung out in a group setting on breaks at work only. We've taken this message to HR, but they're not doing anything. What do I do now? I responded to him and blocked his number and will paste that message at the end of this. I don't think there's really anything else I can do until I find a new job. My reply, I thought we cleared this up. I'm not interested in being friends. Things got uncomfortable for me. It didn't feel like your only intention was friendship. The age difference and the gifts made it feel weird to me, and this message honestly made me uncomfortable. Do not reach out to me again. Comments. I'm pretty sure the person I talked to is the head of HR. The company is a little smaller with only 3 locations. They're also a very email-heavy company, so most of these conversations get email recaps sent to me. They do make it seem like they're concerned about it, but then they tend to brush everything under the rug with anyone experiencing this kind of thing. I am definitely considering legal advice, though. I've had my dad check my car for a tracker, though, and there was nothing. Also, I recently got a new car, and I'm not sure if he knows which car is mine unless he has watched me and seen me get in it. And by the way, I'm going to watch you listening to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio and the rest. Wherever you listen to podcasts, all you have to do is search OK Storytime, and you can listen to a bajillion little hours of a bajillion little stories. Yeah, there is a little bit more story here. I mean, it's probably just time to move to a different location if you can, if it's local.
It really sucks that your business's HR wouldn't help you enough that you didn't have to move jobs, because that's why they're there, to help the employees. But yeah, if they're not going to help, move. Leave the company even, if you can. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, on a real level, like, that's what you should do. But on a much funnier, goofy level, you could make this guy, like, pay for your brand new car by being like, I will respond to a text message for $5,000. Anyway, there's a little bit more story here. I talked to my supervisor today rather than HR, and he said he has no idea what app he could be referring to. We don't have any messaging apps through work, only email. He said the only thing he could have found on a work app is my work email, and I'm definitely considering legal action because even when I said something today, it didn't seem like they were going to do anything. I'm going to unblock his number and see if any more messages come in. I really appreciate the advice. We do have cameras, just not a doorbell one, and they're all over the outside of our house. I did contact a lawyer, but there are certain laws with this extent of things, and they think I do have a case. I just have to get it approved before a lawyer can take it. And that's the end of that story. Yeah, it does feel like HR on a real level. Guys, come on. I'm not. If anyone thought I was really being serious about that, yeah, you're not built for the internet. Yeah, maybe sue HR because.
Yeah, I don't know the laws with that part, but this man's creepy.
I'm not a lawyer, but I would have self-defense is important in all cases, because it might not be your coworker. It could be the stranger you've never met, like the guy in Albuquerque who I'd never seen before in my life who tried to pepper spray me in my face. But thank goodness it was a windy day and I had a basketball under my arm because I pulled it up and then it blew back onto him and he pepper sprayed himself. I didn't know why I did that. And after that happened, I said, wow, I should probably have a better understanding of self-defense and sort of like, you know, knowing how much distance I need to keep between myself and others, because I let that guy walk right up on me because I was confused, and I won't let that happen again.
Yeah, everyone should take a self-defense class.